Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 63 of I Got Gameplay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, of course, tonight, Michael Burhan, the most gorgeous man in radio, of course. And of course it is, because no one can see my face. And today also we have with us the man who's the host of the Untitled Movie Show, an amazing human being, and also a charitable person, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Miguel Leon. So Miguel, how are you doing today?
A little bit bummed. I missed the 8-bit intro we always had. It kind of pepped me up, got me into a good mood. We're just kind of starting cold.
Yes, I know we are starting cold tonight, but don't worry. When you start cold, it always warms up afterwards. And speaking of warm, we have Mr. Nick Enderley. Nick, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I feel like a fangirl right now because who is with us?
I don't know who is with us. Oh, yes, of course. We have, from the Happy Console Gamer, making his second attempt at working with us lovely people in I Got Gameplay, Mr. Robman. Robman, how are you doing, old sir?
I'm doing quite well, and thank you very much, actually. I don't know why Nick's all excited, though. Is there somebody important coming?
I think there's someone somewhere, I think.
Is there? Okay.
Hi, sorry, Mike.
The missus will be down in a bit, but she's just getting the wee ones to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Also, we have today with us on this lovely, lovely show someone else who could talk about couples gaming, of course, because she's had her first sort of debut tonight on the Untitled Movie Show, of course, and is making her second effort at working with us today. Her name is Sarah Mortimer. Sarah, are you there? Oh, Skype's dropped her call for some weird reason.
No, she's still on there. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yes.
I see it.
She'll be back, of course. Now, as always in I Got Gameplay tradition, we are going to go straight to the news while we also wait for Xander and Zach to turn up because they've disappeared for some reason. But yes, let's go to news. So Nick Enderley, what's in the news this week?
Oh my God. I just read the most horrible story. Flappy Bird has been released as an MMO.
Wait, what?
Yes, I will send you the link. Flappy Bird has been made as an MMO.
Why?
Because apparently somebody wanted to be punished. I have no clue.
Can I just say this right now? Up until about the last 2 days, I had no idea what Flappy Bird was. Honestly, honest to God, like I'd seen pictures of it. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I thought it was like a Mario mod, considering the tubes, but like it's this game that came out of nowhere that is apparently hard, and people are upset because of it.
Well,
I don't get it.
Is it safe to say you didn't know what the flap was all about?
Yeah, good one. Very good, sir. Golf clap.
I do my best.
Oh Lord, but yeah, it was one situation. Those people who don't know what Flappy Bird is or have lived under a rock for quite some time, Flappy Bird was a nice iPhone iPad game. Apparently, was taken down. It was rumored to be taken down because Nintendo filed a lovely copyright claim against these guys and wanted to sue their buns off, or the developer, the individual behind it. And for some reason, it's caught all the rage. We've seen iPhones go for $100,000 on eBay, which I have no idea why people are spending that kind of money on an iPhone. Just
because it's simple. Because Mac users, for the most part, aren't very bright, and they don't know how to hack their phones to actually get.
Wait.
Now, let's not wave the fanboy flags. Come on, now, we're all welcoming here.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just saying, if this were an Android game, this wouldn't be the case because you could just rip the Android APK off the internet. But
it is also an Android game.
Oh, I should download it then. I should see if I could find it.
You can't find it because it's actually been taken offline.
Off of nothing ever really gets taken offline, dude. This is the internet we're talking about.
The main developer behind it basically stated that he was earning an estimated $50,000 an hour From
I thought it was a day.
From a day, was it? Okay, a day. I was corrected.
Something like that. Something equally stupid.
From adverts alone. So I don't understand. There's two questions that pose here. One, why would someone actually make a Flappy Bird MMO? And I don't know how that would even work. And two, if he was making so much money, why did he take it down? Let's go over to you, Rob, man.
Okay, number one, if there was actually a cease and desist filed by Nintendo, the legal fees to fight that would be massive for a guy who independently made a game. So chances are he did decide, you know what, I've made a crap ton of money. I don't need any more. I may as well take it down, make Nintendo happy, and just bugger off of my riches. As for making an MMO, I don't know why, but all I can say is I'm laughing my head off right now at the image of a bunch of hipsters sitting around a Starbucks, tapping frantically on their screen and yelling at each other while they sip their lattes.
It sounds like an episode of This Job for Hire.
Well, not yet. Give me a few days. I'll have that script written.
Just with Mike in a cafe, just like playing Flappy Bird. So,
and of course, all of them sitting around saying, you know, I was playing Flappy Birds before it was cool.
Yes. Next, we'll see a Flappy Birds Atari game. So, Sarah, what about you? What do you think, like, behind the what do you think was going through this person's head who made this MMO? Do you think they just did it for the sake of it, for the lulz?
Yeah, probably to get in on the whole. Oh, Flappy Bird is popular. I don't know why, but here, let's get in on the action before everybody forgets about it. Which is pointless because I don't even know why Flappy Bird even exists. It's kind of stuff.
We've actually got a Flappy Bird MMO. It's actually in front of me.
Flappy Bird coming down.
It's real. Why?
It is
Oh,
real.
man, are you whispering sweet nothings over there?
Oh, I am speaking to my wife who has just joined us and explaining where we're at in the conversation so they can be up to speed.
So I just got our little guy to bed, so he might need me to go up there once in a while. But
So, ladies and gentlemen, in her internet podcast debut, Tam Man, known as my wife.
yes.
Hi, Tam.
Who's clapping? Someone was clapping.
That was Scott. Thank you.
So we've got another person making his podcast debut as well. Sarah's lovely other half, Scott. Hi, Scott.
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, let's cut the Flappy Birds talk then. Then Miguel, do you have some news for us?
I've got one bit of news, and I mentioned this at the tail end of the Untitled Movie Show when we were off podcast. Some news in the tech industry that should have people worried, and that is news pertaining to Comcast. How many of us actually use Comcast as an internet service provider? Anybody?
No, not yet.
Well, depending on if you're a Time Warner customer, you might actually start soon, because Comcast just bought their number 2 competition for a record $45 billion.
Wait, you're supposed to do it properly. $45 billion.
This isn't much of a laughing matter, and I'll tell you exactly why. For those of you that don't know about Comcast as an internet service provider, they suck. They're very much they're pretty much they rank number 1 in terms of the worst customer service in the tech industry. They've constantly been accused of tampering with people's connections to get to facilitate their data caps, because they're one of the few internet service providers that have caps with their service, to where if you hit that cap, you have to pay extra on your bill, kind of like the cell phone industry. They're the only company that does that, and ever since they managed to single-handedly get net neutrality taken down, there's been some reports going out that they have been throttling internet connections to certain websites, specifically YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, and Twitch. And now they just bought their number 2 competition. And to put that into perspective, right now Comcast owns 30% of the ISP business in the U.S. That means 30% of people that have internet access, at least high speed, have it Comcast. Time Warner was the number 2, and they had 15%. Combined, that now puts Comcast in the realm of 45% of internet ownership. They're going to slowly start transferring their Time Warner services over to their Comcast services soon. So they're pretty much own about almost half the ISP market in America. And given their track record when it comes to customer service, this is not a good thing.
Okay.
This is actually a big issue.
Let's throw it over there to you, Nick. What do you think of this, being someone who is not in the Comcast loop?
I've actually lived in an area where Comcast was around, and I heard nothing good about them. The fact that they are going to have half of this is sounding too much like an monopoly almost.
Well, here's the thing. The reason that it's not a monopoly is because while there's only maybe like 4 major providers, I believe Comcast, Charter Internet has some places around the country, Cox Cable, and I believe Verizon Fios is also in that list. There's like 24 different little minis around the world. Like I know Cablevision takes care of the Northeast, Bright House, where I'm at, takes care of the South. You've got a couple ones like popping up, but in terms of national coverage, Comcast is pretty much the big game in town. I mean, even Charter, Cox, and Verizon only attribute to maybe 15% of the nationwide internet connection combined, and the rest is all minis. So that's how they're able to skirt around monopoly laws. Here's the thing, though. The big reason why Comcast is able to have so much internet connections is because back in the late 90s and early 2000s, they signed a ton of exclusivity contracts, to where in most places, Comcast is the only service provider. Like, for instance, I have Bright House here, Bright House Internet Service, and they were a Time Warner company. They spun off, which is why I'm thankful that Bright House is not going to be a Comcast service. But they have an exclusivity contract here, so they're the only internet I have. I can't get anything else. I don't have AT&T Uverse. I don't have access to Verizon Fios. Still hasn't been able to make ends in here. So in a lot of places, Comcast is the only game in town. And now that they own almost half the internet service provider market nationwide, that means there's a lot of places that are going to be stuck. It's either Comcast or us.
Okay, let's quickly go over to Rob and his lovely wife, Tam. What do you guys think of this, or do you care?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't think I've heard of Comcast.
We're Canadian, eh? We've got a couple of Huskies running in a wheel out back, and that runs our internet.
Yeah, I don't think Comcast
So we
made
have,
it.
where we are, especially in British Columbia, basically we have both Shaw, which was formerly Rogers, and we also have TELUS, who runs our, they both can do telephone, internet, and cable television. So we have healthy competitions too. Still, there's a competition going for all services. So we don't get any of that, you use us or you're screwed anymore. It used to be Shaw had that. Now it no longer is the case. So luckily we get plenty of competition and a lot of incentive for both of them to make us happy. So we don't really have to worry about our high-speed internet service provider, whereas I think the States really needs to take a good look at the way that's run and change it.
Because I've heard, I think it's a bit expensive for us, though, in general. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, for us to have home phone, internet, and basic cable is over $100 a month, but that's combined all free.
That sounds about right down here. Even with most service providers, that's about how much you do. But one of the things that really bugs me about this is that Google, for about a year or two, has been trying to make ends with their fiber service. They're the only company aside from Verizon that's actually trying to roll out fiber internet. They're trying to upgrade the infrastructure. They're trying to work with local municipalities to try to upgrade their services from copper to fiber. They're really doing a good service, and Comcast has done nothing but stand in their way. I mean, they're constantly trying to strike deals with local municipalities to pass laws to keep them out of areas, even in areas they're already in. Right now, they're trying to fight the city of Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, which were the first 2 cities to have Google Fiber. They're still trying to pass laws in there to try to get them out of the town. They're just, I think that's my biggest problem with them, is that if they were successful because they were a good service and because people really, wanted them, fine. Sometimes that happens. Look at Microsoft with Windows. They had a good product, and now they're really the only real major PC thing, OS in town. But Comcast is going out of its way to strike these deals and lobby, local governments to try to keep these companies out. And it's just such a slimy practice. And I think that's what scares me if they're going to have this pseudo-monopoly going on with this new Time Warner deal. I mean, I just hope that the FCC gets involved and strikes this down, because I do think that there is a risk of just having too much power. I mean, we've seen that happen recently with the AT&T T-Mobile thing a couple years ago when that got shut down.
Okay. All I have to say is that on my side of things, I'm pretty much the same as Rob and Tam in their situation, where we've got a very healthy bout of competition going over here. We used to have one provider for everything, which was BT. And when the monopoly was taken down, because our monopolies commission kind of got stepped in and went, you know what, you've got too much power, we're opening it up to other companies. Now we've got like a ton of different companies out there who just do things on their own. They don't really kind of like bother with that anymore. So I get good deals on mine. I pay like £18 a month for my internet, home phone, my what's it called, line rental, and that suits me, and it's pretty decent connection. I may be upgrading to fibre at some point. I want to, because it makes shows like I Got Gameplay run so much more smoothly, but we shall see. Now let's move on from that. Rob, Tam, do you have any lovely gaming news for us?
Well, it's not necessarily gaming news, but in the news we've got what do you got? Sorry, you.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. What we do have is I read recently an article about how there's going to be some reboots of 80s movies in the works. And first of all, really I wish they'd stop this. But what got me the most was reading the article. Two of the films they plan to remake, which would be Time Bandits and The Toxic Avenger. They plan to make... Okay, wait for it. No, hang on. Yeah. Please, hold all groaning for the end. They plan to make family-friendly remakes of Time Bandits and The Toxic Avenger. Now, for those that don't know... Okay, yeah, but honestly, for those that don't know, The Toxic Avenger is a film made by a company called Troma, who, founded by Lloyd Kaufman, made their money on incredibly low-budget, B-grade gore and almost grindhouse-level movies. There's a lot of nudity, sex, a lot of really badly done gore effects.
Really not PC.
Horrible acting. But
lots of gross-out humor.
Yes, and they're going to try and turn that into a family-friendly film. And Time Bandits is a classic. It's a Terry Gilliam, very surrealistic, dark fantasy with touches of comedy to it that was so beautifully shot and wonderfully done. It should be considered art. And to try and remake that as a family-friendly, current generation kids movie makes me want to go to Hollywood and start gouging out people's eyes and killing them. Because Hollywood needs to start making new intellectual properties. Leave great films like this alone.
Well, didn't they learn their lesson with Brazil and The Legend of Barry Munchausen? For those of you that don't know, those are two Terry Gilliam movies, and in the case of Baron Munchausen, the studios got involved with that heavily, and that movie in the States bombed. It made some money overseas, but it was because the studios wanted to meddle with Gilliam's vision that movie really wasn't successful. Same thing with Brazil. With Brazil, for those of you who haven't seen it, there's two versions of Brazil. There's the uncut version, which is the Gilliam version, which was released overseas and a big hit. And in the States, we got a much more toned-down, quote-unquote, Love Conquers All version, where they took a lot of the dark elements out to try to appeal to mainstream, and it didn't work. People didn't like it.
What? I've never even heard of that. I've only ever seen the original director edition that was released in Canada and the UK and such.
No, in America, we got a much more toned-down version of Brazil, and the ending, basically. I haven't seen the movie, but I should see it. But from what I've read, a lot of the darker elements of Brazil were taken out, and the ending was completely changed in the American cut, and the American cut bombed because of it.
Well, the whole point of the film is the dark elements and exposing the stupidity of corporate society. That's what it is.
I mean, they've been doing that for years when it comes to Gilliam's movies. Gilliam's one of those guys that the studio has never really been behind. I mean, even for his most successful movies, like 12 Monkeys, and I think, did he do the adaptation of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
I don't recall.
I think he might. It's either that or I know he did one movie that was Oscar nominated, and I think it might have been that one. Might have gotten a few Oscar nods. But Gilliam has always had trouble with the studios, going back to probably one of the biggest missed opportunities I've ever heard. Did you know that Gilliam was actually supposed to be the director of the first Harry Potter movie?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
J.K. Rowling. Different film.
J.K. Rowling handpicked Gilliam to direct the first movie, and Universal was like, no, we've worked with this guy before, we can't trust him, we're not going with him as a director, and instead they signed Chris Columbus to do the first two. But come on, you can't tell me that a Gilliam-directed Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone would have been awesome.
It would have been amazing, except that I don't want to see Terry Gilliam making family movies. His movies need to be dark, and they need to be very intense and visceral. You know? But well, yeah. See, I know the Troll was, a little too comical, but Harry Potter needed to be, especially for the first book, a more child-friendly film and story, because it was very simple and very much aimed at younger kids, and the book series grew up with the audience. Whereas Gilliam's works, like Time Bandits, very dark, awesome. Yes, I would like to see a Terry Gilliam Harry Potter film, but I can understand why the studio would be hesitant, because I don't think that would have sold well for kids at the box office.
Actually, Gilliam has gone on record and said that if you've ever seen Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which was directed by Alfonso Cuarón of Gravity fame, he said that probably was the closest to what he would have made the first movie. Which I really want to see that movie because it's got a great director behind it. I haven't seen the third one, but I really want to see that one because who's tied to it.
Yeah, it was darker and much grittier. But again, the stories were growing up with the fan base, so they were a little closer to like early high school, mid high school at that point.
Speaking of dark and gritty, today we also have with us our lovely late guest, Zach Latour. Hi, Zach.
Hey, what's going on? I'm sorry, I thought this was going on at midnight Eastern Standard Time. I'm late. I'm an idiot. Whatever.
I love every time he makes a mistake. He's like, "I'm an idiot." Whatever.
Yeah.
You horrible, horrible man.
You killed Christmas.
I'm adopted.
Does that explain it? I don't. Being adopted means you have no concept of time.
No, I just mean both sets of parents don't like me. So yeah, I don't know.
To be fair, it was his first day.
But yeah, I don't know. I for some reason I thought this was going on at midnight. But anyway, yeah, how's everyone doing?
We're all good. We're talking about 80s movies that are being remade currently and being turned into family films, as Rob was saying, including The Toxic Avenger and Time Bandits. So yeah, giving the old RoboCop. What do you think about that, Zach?
Well, I mean, Toxic Avenger, at least they did make it into a children's show a long time ago. Toxic Crusaders, that was a cartoon for kids. And I think there's been a lot of movies that have been pretty dark that were children's movies. I mean, there's things like Alice in Wonderland. I'm trying to think of other movies that are relatively dark. There's a lot of kids movies that are decently dark. But what's up?
The Secret of Nim.
I have never seen that movie.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Basically, any of Don Bluth's early work pre-90s I'd consider to be really dark. Even The Land Before Time was pretty intense for what it was marketed as.
Well, so yeah. Sorry, go on.
Well, I remember The Secret of Nim, watching it when I was quite little, and the big owl freaked the crap out of me.
It did me too. I remember watching that. My dad brought it home from the rental store, and I watched that, and I was literally cowering behind him most of the time. So yeah, Zach, you're basically saying that they could do it and do a very dark and gritty Toxic Avenger, but still make it kid friendly.
No, I'm just saying like they took something like if you watch the Toxic Avenger, the Toxic Avenger is funny because that movie is like a very almost like indie movie, like the way it's made. First of all, it's a trauma film, but which everything that they do is very like not Hollywood, I guess, in a lot of ways. but Toxic Crusaders, they had that, which was, I guess, geared towards children. But I don't see how they would do Toxic Avenger as a children's movie. But I would have loved to see Harry Potter in a darker set of films. What's up?
I was going to say, amazing enough, they did explain how the Toxic Avenger would be made as a children's film. The idea was that the main character was a teenager in high school who got affected by the toxic ooze and turned into this mutant creature, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger would play the character who took him under his wing and taught him to be a superhero.
You should be a superhero. I'll show you how to be a very good action star.
Use your mutated traits for good, not for evil. I will give you the strength, eat this energy bar.
Now, here's what I have to ask, though, if they're going to be remaking Toxic Avenger. How much is Lloyd Kaufman going to be attached to it? Is he at least get a producer credit, or is he going to help write the script? Like, how much Kaufman are we going to see in this?
I would say none, simply because aside from based on a creation by, considering the man who made Romeo and Juliet, I don't think is going to be allowed near a children's film.
James, no. I will fight you on that. James Gunn did make a children's movie.
That's not Lloyd Kaufman.
No.
That's not Lloyd Kaufman.
Romeo and Juliet was made by James Gunn, though.
It was made by Troma Films and Lloyd Kaufman. James Gunn may have directed it, but it was made by Lloyd Kaufman's studio, Troma Films.
Fair enough.
Because it is Romeo and Juliet. So, not as a director. I'm saying Lloyd Kaufman would not be let, because of a restraining order, I'm sure, anywhere near a children's film. I love the man. I love his films. The man made the Killer Condom, which was actually, the creature was designed by H.R. Giger, little fun fact. But I cannot see a man with his cinematic history being asked to do a children's film. On the other foot, though, they did take Peter Jackson, who is best known for Bad Taste and Dead Alive, and handed him The Hobbit.
And Meet the Feebles.
And Lord of the Rings.
Meet the Feebles. And they gave him Lord of the Rings, I don't know why. I mean, he did a great job, but based on his previous films, you know what? That Meet the Feebles was so good. Let's get him to do Lord of the Rings. I really liked what he did there with Dead Alive, with the lawnmower mulching all the zombies. That's great. So Lord of the Rings definitely hits.
I'm sorry, guys. If we're talking about Peter Jackson in terms of movies of his that I love, I got to go Frighteners. I'm a massive fan of that movie.
Me too.
Okay, that was very good, yes.
Okay, so let's segue off of that now and go into some very weird news. Mario Kart 8 apparently is outselling the PlayStation 4 in Japan.
Wait, Mario Kart 8?
Yes, Mario Kart 8 is apparently outselling the PS4 on Amazon in Japan. It's not even out yet, but it's already selling enough units to make Iwata Miyamoto cackle with glee at the thought of Wii U finally becoming a money-printing machine. Player Essence caught wind of news spotting the listing in Japanese Amazon site's bestseller category. You don't even have to take my word for it, or Player Essence's word for it, of course. Just head over to the Japanese Amazon page right now and see what, for historical purposes, you can check the snapshot of the page below. So I will give you the snapshot here on our chat thing, and I'll post it on the IGG Facebook page and loads of that stuff. And so as you can see, it's actually outselling the PlayStation 4. And as you can see, it leaves the pack at the top of the charts, followed closely by the culturally beloved Ishin Ryu for the PS3, Dragon Quest Monsters for the Nintendo 3DS, and globally anticipated Dark Souls 2, rounding out the top of the software pack. And by the way, you can check out Dark Souls 2 on my Nerd Genius channel, because I did a nice little Persephone thing. Namco Bandai invited me down there to do that. And if you look at the fifth spot, it's occupied by the PlayStation 4 and is listed hourly, but Mario Kart 8 has been maintaining top spot for the entire day, despite the fact that PlayStation 4 is set to launch on February 22nd in Japan. So yes, people, what do you think? Rob Van Tam, take it away. What do you guys think?
Stunned silence.
Kind of funny. I guess it's.
Okay, well, from my perspective, the fact that the PlayStation 4 has been released in North America, they still haven't fulfilled all pre-orders. they're still having trouble getting the hardware out.
There's no game.
Japan has released the system now. There's nothing to play. They're doing better than Xbox One. But I've got Resogun. I've got Don't Starve. I've got the Warframe that was the free to download, free to play. Outlast, which is scary, but that is crap Japan scary. They're all downloadable. They're all, for the most part, free if you have PlayStation Plus. There are no big, wow, buy the system for this games yet for either. So the fact that Mario Kart 8, which is on a system that is technically established by now, the Wii U, is outselling is not surprising because everyone wants their new Mario Kart. It is the next big hot IP for Nintendo, who are really dragging their damn feet. But there's nothing out for the PS1, so not a surprise. Sorry, PS4. I'm getting PS4 and Xbox One. There's nothing out for the PS4. There's nothing. So I'm not surprised, horribly.
And also those games that you mentioned, like Outlast and stuff like that, that was also on other consoles, or I think it's also on the Xbox One, but it's definitely PC too. So chances are the people, unless they're say diehard PlayStation or Xbox fans,
they buy it on PC.
Yeah, they already got those games.
On PC or whatever. They're on Steam, aren't they?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you would know.
Well, what about you, Miguel? What do you think about this? Does this mean a resurgence for Nintendo? Can people just take the torches away now and stop saying doom and gloom?
This is just business as usual in my mind for Japan because Nintendo is still their boy. I mean, you're never going to see Nintendo really die out in their native country. In terms of Sony losing some steam, the Sony brand has kind of flirted with that line between, is it a Japanese-based company? Is it an American label now because of how much success it had in America, how ingrained it is with pop culture? So, I could see how maybe it's not seen as the Japanese darling as Nintendo is. So it doesn't surprise me if that's the case. I see it as apples and oranges. I mean, to compare the release of a game with the release of a console, you really can't compare the two. I mean, they're two very different monsters at this point. You've got a brand new expensive console that, we are all still pinching pennies around here, so not all of us can spend our yens on a new console if we want to. Yeah. At the same time, you've got this next iteration to a beloved franchise. So it doesn't surprise me that right now Mario Kart 8 is going to be outselling the PS4. It's more accessible. It's much easier to get. It's a little more established than the PS4 because the PS4 hasn't been out yet. So it's not a shock, but like I said, it's apples and oranges. You really can't compare the two. Thank you.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Sorry.
So, Zach, what do you think about this?
Oh, I remember when I want to say when Xenoblade first popped up on Amazon, whether it was coming out over here or not, fans were just pre-ordering it anyway, whether it was going to come out or not, until it was number one. And then I don't know if that had any actual sway of Nintendo releasing it over here or whether they were going to do it 100% before then. But I mean, it's happened before, games being number one on there due to pre-order, with hype and everything. And yeah, I definitely feel like the hype of the PS4 has definitely dwindled and definitely died down, especially people were saying about the lack of games really coming out. I mean, look at Sony recently. I mean, I remember when the Vita came out, there wasn't even any diehard whatever games, with the exception of maybe Uncharted, whatever that one was. When name alone, people probably wanted it. And then you look at Xbox One and you look at PS4, and there isn't necessarily anything. I mean, you look at like Nintendo when it came out, or Super Nintendo, the launch games. I know Super Nintendo had much less than Nintendo, but they had kick-ass games that are still classics to this day. I mean, look at I don't even know what PlayStation 4 had. Knack? Watch the Zero Punk review about that piece of shit. So yeah, it's not surprising to me that something way more established, way more people are looking forward to. I mean, Mario Kart has been huge ever since the Super Nintendo. And I love that they made it so the Super Nintendo Mario Kart cheats like a motherfucker, just like F-Zero, and everyone knows it. So now that they censored it where it's an actual fair game, I don't see it why it wouldn't be something like number one, especially over something like the PlayStation 4. And we all know the Xbox One is probably at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay, Nick, what about you? Last but not least, what do you think of this?
I'm just shocked that you said the game isn't even out, right?
Yep, it's not even out yet.
So they don't even know. They're just saying this is how many people have pre-ordered the game.
Yes.
Okay, I'm kind of finding this hard because I would actually like to see actual sale numbers over pre-orders, because you have to ask how many people are going to pre-order the game and then not pick it up versus how many are actually going to buy it.
Well,
That's
it's Amazon. Amazon send it to your door. They don't actually have it pick it up. But I do agree in a sense. But I do like this as well because it's Mario Kart. Because for me, I knew like as soon as they said they were going to release a Mario Kart launch game, people would go apeshit, you know. Or if they basically released a like Smash Brothers game, people would go apeshit. I know for a fact that Nintendo are going to make some good money off of this. Because this is what these games do. They're made for this sort of thing, to sell that console. So it's a good thing, and hopefully it sees an increase in Wii U sales when it comes over to the UK and America, when it officially does get released. So let's move on from that. And Zach, last but not least, do you have any news for us?
Yeah, actually I got something. I guess Assassin's Creed is deciding to go the same way as BioShock in releasing its own board game. I know StarCraft did this a while back, and then if everyone remembers, when I want to say the premium edition of BioShock Infinite came out, it came with an actual piece that you could use if you bought the board game when it comes out, and I think then the board game for BioShock has since been released, and I guess the February 26th, the board game of Assassin's Creed Arena is coming out.
I'm just waiting for the Assassin's Creed toys that are for minute children. They'll probably release that at some point.
We have them.
Are they cool?
Have them.
Are they?
You mean like my size Barbie?
Yes.
They have figures. We sell them at Walmart. We sell Assassin's Creed action figures.
What
Yeah,
are
but I
they
think
getting
you
over
need
to
the
the
big
UK?
Yeah, they're like 6-inch little action figures. We have them at our store. I'm actually thinking about adding them to my collection.
Gail, can you send me one as a birthday present, please?
I'll think about it.
Damn
No.
you! Damn you to hell! Okay, so let's go back onto our guest, Robin Tam. What do you think of this? Do you think Assassin's Creed deserves a board game?
Board game? Well, I don't know. What kind of board game would it be exactly?
Well, it says it's a game. Let's see. The game is made. Let's see. Yeah, no. It's built as a strategic game of cat and mouse and pits 2 to 4 players against each other in a race for kills.
Redundant.
Yeah, honestly, some properties do not translate well into board games. This sounds like one of them. Another one, and I'm just gonna pop this out as well. Okay, everybody listening? Everyone out there?
Yes.
I know they're making a Mega Man board game! Stop sending links to the Kickstarter page, everyone, please, for the love of God. I've got 87,000 of them in my Twitter and my Facebook, okay? I get it. I've seen it. I know it. Hey, have you seen this? Yes. I saw it probably, a million times. Okay, I know it's coming out. And for everyone that's been sending it to me, no thank you. Because, again, it doesn't work as a board game. I love that the artwork's on there, and it looks great. It doesn't work as a board game, and Assassin's Creed is another one of these. It just doesn't translate. It's a game where you're supposed to inconspicuously travel through cities and assassinate targets. As a multiplayer board game, it doesn't work to me. I don't know, Tamara, what do you think?
I'm just saying, it really would have to depend on what kind of a board game it is. I mean, I can't picture it, I guess, really.
Cluedo!
I mean, it could be cool if they did it right, but I'm just having trouble picturing it as a board game.
Actually, if you want a good board game that actually may work as kind of Assassin's Creed board game, I think of a game called Resistance, where there's a group of resistance members that are trying to overthrow the government, and there's spies within the resistance. So the spies have to try to kind of destroy the resistance while the resistance are trying to destroy the government. So, yeah. So it'll be one of those things that if Assassin's Creed were to do it that way, where it's all about just trying to kind of play the other players, then that could be interesting.
Sorry, Sarah, Scott, I think you've got a bit of feedback there. Have you got like wind coming into your microphone?
Big time.
I think they've got a 747 parking into their living room right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so on the Assassin's Creed board game, and also for anybody who has any info about the Mega Man board game, please don't send it to Rob Man, or he'll hunt you down and he'll kill you.
Jumping back in.
I hate to say it, but I did get to the point where everyone that was sending me a link was getting banhammered and blocked from my page.
Oh.
Because I put up a post and I said, okay, everyone, I put it as a status update. I said, I have seen this. I know it exists. I thank you. It's been out for 3 weeks now, and like 100 people have sent it to me in private messages and directly on my page below the post where the last person sent it. So please stop. And if you do insist on sending it, I am going to have to remove you from my page. And the first comment on it will link to the Kickstarter, and I banned the guy.
Ugh.
So I was like,
you're being
sneaky.
Wow.
It's like when Spoonie complains about people sending him links to the Highlander remake. It's like, of course I know there's going to be a Highlander remake. Stop.
And I course now it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's like, you believe it's starring Ryan Reynolds?
Is he Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod, and he's here to help them?
I don't know if they're remaking the entire story, the entire original story, but that's one of the running gags on Spoonie's show. It's like, everybody keeps sending me the news that not only are they remaking Highlander, but that Ryan Reynolds is going to be the lead. It's like, yeah, I already know. Do you not know how much of a Highlander fan I am?
Well, yeah, that's it. I kind of feel bad, but if there's something new about Mega Man that's been out for more than a week, assume I know.
Yeah, he has a picture of Mega Man on his profile, people. He will know.
I have Mega Man inked permanently into my skin.
2 of them, I think.
Mega Man and Heat Man, that is correct.
Ah.
So, pretty up on it. Fairly close. I do watch the Rockman Corner and the Mega Man Network pages religiously. So, yeah. So I do appreciate it, everybody. I mean, I don't want to sound like a completely ungrateful prick. It's just that I did get literally 100 of them within a week. All on my page. And I was like, but the guy up right there, just sit. Please stop sending these. So,
Right,
yes.
guys.
I'll pack up my soapbox and put it away.
That was actually a very funny rant. I like it, Robman. I do like it. And IGG is the place for most people to rant about stuff as well. And also, last but not least, I want to give you guys a little bit of info. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, for those people who own GTA 5 and are online this weekend, there's a weekend event going on at the moment that started from Valentine's Day and is probably going to be ending by Monday. And it boosts cash and RP rewards, etc. So in honor of Valentine's Day, they did a Valentine's Day Massacre special content for GTA Online. They're hosting a special weekend event, and festivities will spill over into the older Rockstar games, including Red Dead Redemption and Max Payne 3. Those traveling to San Andreas this weekend will have a special crates falling from the sky, and they're loaded with RP bonuses, submachine guns, sticky bombs, and also Rockstar says that Del Perrillo Beach in Vinewood Sign and the Observatory car park are a few secluded locations where these packages will land. But be warned though, you'll probably have some competition for the loot. Can't get anything out today. Rockstar will also offer discounts to your Valentine's weekend festivities. Cinema tickets will be free for you and your date if you're feeling like you want to go and watch a movie. And if you're feeling lonely, you can stop by the Vanilla Unicorn for free shots and lap dances. Woohoo! Fake internet stuff. If you take a Snapmatic photo of your misadventures, you could win big money. Tag your shots with V-Day Massacre for a shot at $1 million of in-game money, as well as an exclusive in-game license plate that says "Be Mine" or "Kiss It." The 5 winners will be announced under the Rockstar Newswire. So, what do people think of this? Let's go to you, Robin Tan, first, of course. What do you think of the Valentine's Day Massacre? Do you own GTA 5?
Nothing says I love you like the gift of a machine gun.
I was wondering how Rockstar was going to tie this into Valentine's Day, and that seems about the only way that they could do it. What I was thinking you were going to say was that, you got extra loot for beating up prostitutes, or perhaps you got double health bonus for having sex with them.
I was going to say extra loot for not beating them up on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, for treating them well on Valentine's Day. You actually get free health bonuses because you're not killing them. So that's really awesomely funny. I especially like them throwing in for the single people as they get free shots and lap dances at the local strip bar.
Of course. It was actually kind of funny when I was at work the other day. We were working on Valentine's Day, and my manager just walked up to us and said, "By the way, guys, for all of you who cried and masturbated today, just know that I'm with you. Now let's get selling."
So obviously they've definitely gone over the sexual harassment information at your office. Good to know. Good.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Did he say cried and masturbated, or cried or masturbated?
My office is extremely off the wall because it's run by actors for actors, so it's one of those things where we're in an actors call center and everybody just gets lewd and crude and everyone's applauding, and I'm sitting there going, okay, there's no sexual harassment suits going on. None of the girls look offended and look like they want to kill him, so I think we're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
And to answer the question, I believe it was because honestly, on Valentine's Day, if you're single, you can do both.
Yeah,
you're going to do both. Let's be real here.
Yeah, let's be honest. We're all grown-ups. We know the truth.
Yes, take it from a single man who hosts his own podcast. That's what I did on Valentine's Day. So, on going from that sort of news as well, let's talk about the elephant in the room in terms of GTA 5, of course, where a government survey over here in the UK have stated that children should not be playing Grand Theft Auto 5 because it causes them to see things in a rather morbid and senseless view. Politicians are stating that the game should be outright banned, whereas most of us sane people would be sitting there pointing our finger at parents.
Yeah, don't let your kids play.
Is this really an elephant in the room?
Is this still an issue?
Yeah, one school over here in the UK have actually stated that kids have come in saying that they wanted to beat up prostitutes and kill their friends.
Okay,
In the game, probably.
But again, why is this still an issue? There's a rating system in place. It is now, at least in North America, enforced. You do have to show ID to purchase these games now. And if a store is found to be selling them to minors without checking ID, they can be fined and shut down. So parents, pull your heads out of your asses.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't been an issue here in the States probably since San Andreas, I think, is probably the last big censorship issue in terms of video games, and that was for the sexual content in the hot coffee mod. That wasn't because of violence.
Where two fully clothed people had consensual sex.
Yeah, for violence-based controversy, I think you'd have to go to like the early 2000s for that. It's been pretty quiet on this end.
It's silliness actually over here because we're getting to the point where we're becoming a bit too PC. Well, we've always been a bit too PC in terms of the way that we handle things and the way I've always seen it. And being a parent myself, I don't like with Grand Theft Auto. I play that on me time when it's alone time when I want to play games by myself. When I know I can play those games without my kids watching. And, you know, they play the fluffy Mario stuff and the Nintendo Wii U, which is primarily there for the kids, and also the virtual console stuff. And if they do play the 360, it's usually games that they like on the Kinect and loads of kiddies games. And it's the way that it works. They have Skylanders. They have loads of games up for children. And I'm sorry, the age-old excuse of parents going, well, it's a game, it's supposed to be for kids. If it says anything like hookers and killing and has an 18-rated certificate on it, you really need to grow a set of balls and stop. And the problem over here as well is they don't enforce it. And the one thing that I really feel that the government should be getting their fingers out of their arseholes and actually dealing with here is enforcing those ratings. They enforce cigarettes, they enforce lottery tickets, they enforce alcohol. If someone is caught purchasing alcohol from a store and they do not challenge him, the store clerk gets fined. They actually could face a prison sentence over it as well. And the person who purchased it will get themselves fined, banned from the store, and also could face a prison sentence as well if they are convicted. it needs to be done. It needs to be implemented. It needs to be put in place. And I would really, really like those politicians who really want to basically get involved in all this and point the finger at the game, start pointing the finger at the stupid parents. Because seriously,
get involved the right way.
Exactly. Be proactive. It's silliness. It's like the whole stupidity with the Parents Television Council trying to censor Adult Swim. It's
I worked at an EB around the time that the second Grand Theft Auto was out. Yes, I'm old. I know.
Wait, Vice City or the original 2?
No, we're talking Grand Theft Auto 2. And it did come out, I believe, the Dreamcast. I'm old. And there was a kid that came into the store with his mom, and he wanted to buy the game. And she brought it up, and he was about 10, maybe 11. And she put it down, and this is before the ratings were being enforced, when they were just starting to show up. And I looked at the game, and I looked at the mom, and I said, ma'am, are you aware of what you're buying for your son? She said, oh, it's a game. And I said, no. The kid's giving this look like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And I said, ma'am, this is a criminal simulation. You are supposed to, although it's a top-down view, steal cars, murder people, sell drugs, sell weapons, double-cross gangs. You're supposed to, have sex with prostitutes, steal their money, senselessly beat people. You get score multipliers for running over gangs at Hare Krishnas. This is, actually, that one was the Elvis impersonators in the second one. And she said, what? I said, yes. This is meant for older teenagers and adults. This is not a game for kids. And she just looked at her son and said, there's no way you're getting this now, and put it back. And I said, thank you for doing the right thing. The same day I had another father come in, or a kid come in and try and buy it himself, and I said, no, you're not old enough. The dad came in with him. I told him the same thing, and the dad said, I don't care. And I said, I cannot in good conscience sell this to you because I know you'll give it to your son. And he said, it's not up to you what I give to my son. And I said, well, it is a rated game, and I cannot sell it knowing your son's going to play it. I almost got fired by my manager for doing that.
Oh, wow.
Well, to Rob Man's old manager, and also to every parent out there that's stupid enough to purchase this game for their kids, I say this. Boo! Yes. And also, one more thing.
Step away from the duck.
Yes, you all step away from ducks, because you people are weird and cruel. Now, before we go on to the topic of today's show, which is we're going to be talking about couples gaming. That's why we've got some lovely couples on here tonight, and Zach going stag talking about his couples experience. We're going to go on to a short break so that everyone can actually recoup and get themselves together before we move on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after, if I can find it, after this. Hello, ladies and gents. We are back, and we were actually discussing a very funny topic while we were on our break, including the best description of RoboCop. Pam, do you want to tell us your RoboCop story?
Oh, yeah, a friend of my dad's, we were all together, I can't remember now, I think I was 5, so we were at a White Spot or something for lunch, and he was explaining the scene in RoboCop where the guy falls into the toxic waste, and then he's walking down the street all melting with his like flesh falling. And he was doing sound effects to me as a 5-year-old. I was like, why are you telling me this? And I had nightmares about that. Just the description for at least a week. Just the mind images the description gave me. Then I saw the movie as an adult, and I was like, this scared me. What the heck? It was ridiculous.
Sit down, son. I'm going to explain to you in great detail the plot to 7.
Then he found that inside the package was his wife's head. No!
Sleep tight, son.
He wasn't being overly graphic, but I have a very wild imagination as a 5-year-old even, and I just pictured this horrible thing. So yeah, not so much.
Oh, you know what? I've had the same. When I was 5, my dad explained to me after watching RoboCop exactly what the movie was about. He's like, son, these are special effects. Where his arms getting blown off weren't actually his real arms. He's an actor portraying a role. And it was literally one of those things where after I watched it again, I was like, not really that scary and kind of cool at the same time.
Well, folks, you don't have to worry about that because in the new RoboCop, there's none of that.
Oh. Yes. So, Rob, you were saying something?
Well, when I was a kid, and I remember distinctly, I was about 3 years old, and I was watching one of the James Bond films with my parents. And
with your parents?
Yeah, with my parents. Now, this is the thing. My parents would always watch, if we were going to see something that had violence or that had, questionable content, they were watching with us, monitoring it, and talked about it with us afterwards. During the film, I asked, why is James Bond taking that lady's dress off? And my dad turned to me and he said, well, son, because they're going to have sex. And he told me everything. My dad's a scientist. He's a forensic scientist. He told me everything. He told me exactly how it works, what goes where and how. And, I mean, when I got bored, I kind of tuned out. It didn't disturb me or upset me. And I said, oh, ew. And watched the movie. Didn't think about it twice. So not only were they responsible parents for, monitoring what I saw and making sure I understood, the big talk about the birds and the bees, for those that are, worried about it, should they be married and planning kids or have kids, talk about it young and be totally candid and totally non-taboo about it. It didn't disturb me. It didn't scar me. It wasn't horrible for me to know that at such a young age. I didn't really get most of it, but it's fine. The younger and more openly you talk about it, the safer it is for them, the better it is for them, and they're not going to get all freaked out. But yes, for those that were saying, someone else was saying that their parents used to watch with them and explain it to them. Yeah, Mike, that's important.
When I was older, like 10 or 11 at least, I can't really remember, but my dad and I used to have what we called the mindless violence movie nights, where we just sit and watch Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah! The hell with you!
It was great. I mean, because I wasn't scared of it by that point, and we just laughed and watched it and made fun of his one-liners and stuff.
Oh, come on. Commando's a great kids movie.
I must have been old. Like, it had to be 11 or something. I can't remember. It was a long time.
Put ice cream on my face. Ice cream.
Please don't bother my friend. He's dead tired.
Whoever is doing that is really good.
Remember when I told you I'd kill you last? Sorry, Major. You did. I lied.
Hey,
he just drops him.
What happened to Sully? I had to let him go.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
The one that did scare me was Total Recall, though.
Oh, when he's out there on the surface of Mars with his eyes open up his head?
He lies on his head, and the funny is that I couldn't stop cracking up when that scene was happening because he was lying there going, I'll
be back in a minute.
Oh,
I was thinking one-liners had to be in Running Man. Because he was, here's your Sub-Zero, now, Plane Zero.
I don't know about you guys, but I had the exact opposite experience with my parents, man. I remember being 12 and my dad sitting me down to watch From Dusk Till Dawn for the first time. When we got to that bar scene with all those women around, my jaw dropped. I was like, this is the greatest film I've ever seen.
All I'm saying, Selma Hayek dancing with a snake. How can you not appreciate that?
Oh, I'm 25 and I still love that scene, man. That scene rules. I'm
kind of, raising an eyebrow at the fact that at 12 you were sitting with your dad watching a movie where just before that scene, Cheech Marin was out front saying, "Pussy, pussy, pussy, all the kind you want, you can get it here, man."
Oh, that scene's awesome. That movie is great. I gotta rewatch that movie.
Right, and
I'm not sure I let myself watch that at 12.
In the spirit of Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen, of course, with Cheech Marin saying "pussy, pussy, pussy," and that's what you get. He was cats, by the way. He was just selling kittens.
I was talking about cats.
Yeah.
In the spirit of Valentine's Day, the console snob Scott Bailey has posted on the timeline from Arnold fans' Facebook page an Arnold Schwarzenegger quote, and it goes like this: "Roses are red, violets are blue. Who is your daddy, and what does he do?"
That was special.
That was special. So there you go, ladies. I know, I can hear ovaries exploding as I said that in my Arnold voice. Let's now go on to today's core subject, and that is couples gaming. That was one of the reasons why when I was talking to Rob about this months ago, because we planned this a few months back. And we talked about this. I wanted to do a special show and something dedicated to something about how gaming brings couples together. And it's one of those big things, because I know a lot of us, when you consider yourself a gamer, most people consider themselves single. Me. And a lot of people may think it's because they're gamers. But it's not true. It's actually quite the contrary. And I want to go through a very nice story that Rob sort of shared with us previously about how he met Tam. So take it away, Rob.
Well, first of all, she is upstairs trying to calm down the recently awakened youngest child. So while gaming brings you together, parenting can bring you apart. But yeah,
well, you have the kids, so at least we know how the story ends.
Indeed. That's cool. Let's not go there. Anyway, yes. Now, the other thing I was going to preface this with is, of a certain generation. Now, I'm not sure how old you are, Michael, and I'm not going to pry because it's rude, but of a certain generation, if you were a gamer, you didn't talk about it, especially in social situations when trying to attract a girlfriend or mate, because it was likely to get you laughed at, or potentially kicked in the nuts and then laughed at. So it was a social stigma that gaming was not cool and that, basement dwellers were the ones doing it. Now, in this modern era, in what I like to call the nerd culture renaissance, it's unbelievably different, because now the nerds are the cool crowd, and it's become very popular to be into nerdy pastimes and geek culture. So it's not as different now to say that you're single because you're a gamer. Today it isn't the same, but in our time, our story was such that Tamara and I had met a few times. She went to film school with Johnny from Happy Console Gamer, and she was going out with someone else at the time who was, I didn't know this. My first experience seeing her was that she was in the corner of their classroom. They were studying classical animation, hand-drawn animation. And she was at her desk working away, hunched over the desk, and I saw that she'd drawn Duckman on a piece of paper and taped it to the side of her desk. And I first of all thought she was gorgeous, and second of all, was very impressed by the Duckman picture. I loved the show, and so I walked over and said, "Oh, did you draw that?" And she mutter, very shy. And I said, "Oh, it's really good." And she turned bright red and kind of, turned away and kept drawing. And I thought, "Oh, okay, I'm freaking her out now. I better leave." But much later, he got her a job at the company he worked at after they graduated. She was broken up with the boyfriend that had been less than pleasant. And he invited her out for a day of shopping when we went to Richmond, which we did regularly, Johnny and I, to a lot of the malls that sold anime soundtracks and video games and Laserdiscs and all this stuff. promptly picked both. He picked both of us up and another friend of his, and we went out to Richmond. And as we were walking around the mall, him and his friend promptly ditched us, just took off on us and left us to our own devices, which was his way of setting us up, which was brilliant. And we were looking at 80s horror movie laser discs, which is bing, and I found Puppet Master 2, and she said that's an awesome movie. I remember that one, which I was like, okay, double points. And then she casually asked, you played the original 8-bit Nintendo, right? And I, yes. I'm listening. And she asked, did you ever play a game called Blaster Master? Because I could never kill the crab boss on level 8, the one that spit, or level 5, the one that spits the bubbles. And my brain exploded. I mean, I practically proposed on the spot. I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect woman. and strangely enough, from there we started going out. We got along like a house on fire, and we started playing video games together. And it's really held us together to this day. I mean, before we had kids, while we were living together, our weekend consisted of wake up around 9:30 or 10, scrape ourselves out of bed, go make a big greasy English fry-up breakfast, get big mugs of tea, sit down, and play video games. And it was usually RPGs, and we'd pass the controller back and forth with level grind and work our way through. And we'd play them till 3 in the morning, having beer and stuff, and usually beer and large amounts of candy. Fall asleep, wake up Sunday at about 10, breakfast, the full thing, repeat. I mean, we've always been gaming couple, I'll play the Silent Hill survival horror. She'll play a lot more of the RPG. She played Final Fantasy X and X2. She played through Final Fantasy IX. She does more of the longer RPGs, although we take turns. And I do all the survival horror and action games. And it's been fantastic. So honestly, gaming can, in this day and age especially, it can really bring a couple together. And I think it's a really good thing.
And it is. I totally and utterly agree with you on that one. So let's go to also our resident gamer here, Mr. Zach Latour, who most know. He actually hosts a channel with his friend and also partner, Kyla DiPietro. Hi, Kyla. If you're listening to this, and I know you are, get back to work. She can't join us today, of course, because she's busy at work. And let's talk about basically how you and Kyla met, Zach. How did gaming sort of strengthen your bond, in a sense?
Yeah, well, I met Kyla through friends. So, like, a bunch of my buddies who I had met when I came, I lived out of state. I live in Massachusetts now, and I was born in Massachusetts. And for about 7 or 8 years, I lived in California when I was in the military. And then when I came back, I met a bunch of people, and then I met her through the people I had met when I got back. And we started hanging out. But, yeah, she started, I remember, like, one night when she came over to hang out, like, I had, like, Contra, like, on my Nintendo, and she was like, yo, let's play. So we played Contra, and it kind of started there. And then she was, really in games, and we were always playing. And we normally both have, like, Wednesday off, and we normally, every Wednesday, we go out and we go, thrifting, and we play video games, and, we buy a bunch of beer and, whatever, and we sit down and we just play games, like, all the time. We play... We have a segment called Two Pro Noobs, which is one that once a week people actually get to see us playing random games. But other than that, I mean, we're always playing games, and it's a thing, like, we are always hanging out together and playing games together, and sometimes against each other, like a fighting game or something like Smash Tennis that we played the other day, or Pocky and Rocky. We played that game. We haven't played it in a while, but we played that game for a long time, trying to get really good at it. And unfortunately, the video we put up, we hadn't played in like a month, so we sucked complete balls because that's a really hard game. And yeah, so Pocky and Rocky was one of the games that we really played all the time, like sitting in front of a television, just loving it, and just drinking beer and hanging out. And really, like, we do a lot of things together. Like, we go to car shows and we watch movies, we watch TV shows, but really the core that we do and love is playing video games, and we're always doing it. And we're always playing games and talking about them and hunting them and all kinds of stuff.
And you know what? I love that. I think that's one of the reasons why I think you guys are so awesome. It's because you share that passion together, and again, that's the same reason that I follow with Rob and Tam here. I think you guys have kind of strengthened your relationship with your love of gaming, and it's kind of also with the other things also they share with each other as well. And it's one of those things where it's a big passion. It's a great passion, and something that also my next guest here knows, Travis. Let's talk about yourself then. You and your girlfriend. How do you find being in a relationship with a gamer girl, and how did you guys meet?
We'll start with the second question there. And how we met is we met on this website, tag.com. And I met her a month after I moved back home because I was in university in Oklahoma. And I moved back up here, and this was before I got divorced. And what happened is I wasn't really looking for anybody. I was just on tag, and I was just looking at messages on stuff. And then I came across her profile, and she was in a Wonder Woman costume. And, ooh, she's pretty interesting. So I'll strike up a conversation with her. You know, who knows? Maybe something might happen. And I responded to her profile, said I thought that she looked very beautiful. Wonder Woman is a really cool character. And she said, well, thank you. And we just started talking and everything. And then, thing you know, we've been talking almost we talk every day on the on Facebook. And she came and saw me in November for the first time. She lives in New York City. And when she came to visit me, we'd set it off. And while this whole time we were getting to know each other, we had discovered a lot of things about each other. Like, we had everything in common. I mean, the same type of music, same types of movies. And come to find out that she was also a gamer. Not a game all the time, but she definitely does play video games. And I thought, oh, this is great, because this was actually the very first woman I've ever known who wanted to be in a relationship with me is now, you know, next to me playing a video game. I mean, she's right here beside me, and she even brought down a copy of Just Dance 2014. We didn't play it because I'm terribly uncoordinated, but we just found this love for gaming this week, where we played a bunch of Kirby. We played Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is an awesome game. And the reason why we were a little late getting to the show was we were really, really getting into the Lego Movie video game.
Oh,
that game is addicting as heck, and we just love it. And yeah,
that's awesome. That is really, really awesome, Travis. And it's nice that you found someone that you have so much in common with. So, Sarah, you're the newest guest in the show, yourself and Scott. Talk about yourselves. Tell us how you guys, how you share that sort of passion of gaming together, and how you guys met.
Well, we'll do the second one first. It's going to be a story where both of us are going to try and fill in the gaps. Scott, do you want to start?
So, like, how we started, I guess, knowing each other, it isn't exactly gaming related, but it is still pretty geeky.
Yeah.
I was taking a 2D summer intensive program, like 2D animation.
2D animation, so like drawing and stuff.
Because I wanted to become like a 3D artist eventually, but I was trying my 2D side first. So I met a guy there. We kind of talked for a bit, and then after a while, we kind of stopped talking, and then I saw him again when I took the 3D animation summer intensive program. And he was in the illustration design summer intensive.
Which is the one that I was in, and we both did that in 2008.
Something like that.
Slash 2008.
So, like, we never really talked to each other that much. We were kind of like...
I was super shy and quiet, and I kept seeing this guy that was with my classmate, and I'm like, oh, you're like out in the cafeteria for lunch every day. Okay, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, so, like, the first time that we met, like, nothing happened at all, and we met each other. We met each other on the bus, and we gave each other our Facebook information. That's about it.
We kind of talked, and then you had to get off, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We'll like add each other on Facebook, and we'll probably keep in touch. Yeah, that didn't really happen.
So 2 years later, what was I doing?
No. Year and a half later, in 2009, I met Aaron, our friend Aaron.
Yeah.
In one of the school that we went to, it has open houses for all of their art programs. And I went to one of those for the illustration design programs I eventually went to. So I met Aaron at that. We kept talking, became friends. We both applied for the program together. I got in, he didn't, but that's okay. And Scott, you met Aaron
So I did the
later that year, actually. No, you met him first, and I met in 2010. Yeah.
I'm very thankful that you know Dave. Excuse me.
Sorry if I'm confusing people.
So I took the 2D Summer Intensive program again because I'm fairly crazy, and I met Aaron there. So we hung out and talked, and I managed to get him a job at the place I was working.
Like a year afterwards.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Like, as kind of a thank you, he and his girlfriend, who he met through me, they met through me.
Which is really funny.
Yeah.
The reason why I met Scott again was because I asked Aaron and his girlfriend where they met. Aaron's like, I met her at my friend Scott's birthday party. I'm like, oh, okay, Scott, all right. Wait. What was his last name?
Yeah.
His last name's Scott Wilson. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll find him on Facebook. Wait, I've already added. Oh, it's the same person.
So then we're at our friend's party, and it was just kind of like.
We were the only single non-Persian people there.
Yeah.
Because our friend's girlfriend was Persian, and they've been dating for like a year or something.
So we kind of met and hit it off. I think one of the first dates that we saw Scott Pilgrim, and also.
Yeah, that wasn't our first date. That was the first time we hung out.
The first time we hung out. Sorry.
Yeah, we saw Scott Pilgrim. Great movie, game related, all over the place.
And going to the gaming part, we were hanging around with our friend Aaron, and so we also played Halo 3 together. So that was kind of our first game, and ever since then we've been gaming a lot.
I haven't really. That was the first time I ever played Halo 3. But yeah, well, we try to play games, or we want to actually make our own games eventually.
Yeah.
So we're equal parts gamers and creative people.
So that's our crazy story.
Sorry that took so long.
That was a great story, and I've got a very funny question to ask you, Rodman, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, of course. A gentleman that you may know, that we're both friends with, by the name of Michael Yamashito, wants to ask you a question, which is, ask Rodman about his Buff Brothers.
Oh, the Buff Brothers. Now, here's an interesting thing. About 4 months ago, I guess, 4 or 5 months ago, I was, having a comfy weekend, put on what I call my fat shorts, which are the shorts that I put on when I'm feeling fat because they're comfy and loose, and the button flew across the room. And I went, oh, crap. I really need to do something about this. I had quite the gut hanging off me, and I was quite out of shape, and so I went onto my Facebook page and just said, I really need to get my sorry ass into shape. I got to find a gym or something. And there were, lots of people commenting, oh, that sounds great, or blah, 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 And then one person, try this, try that. And one guy said, hey, look, I'm a personal trainer and I'm a big fan. Would you like some help with that? And I said, dude, yes, please. He said, well, why don't we chat on Skype and, we'll sort of talk about it, see what you want to do. And that was Mike Yanacito. And we started chatting. First of all, hardcore gamer, knows his stuff, especially about Sega Saturn and Dreamcast. This guy, he's a big-time Saturn fanatic, import and domestic, really cool. He's a professional personal trainer, and he's a bodybuilder who I don't know if he still competes, but I know he has. And so we started talking, we hit it off, and I told him, I want to lose weight and I want to build up. And so he said, all right, well, I'll take you on and I'll help you out. And he helped me with diet, with exercise, with everything, got me a workout routine. Over the course of 4 months, I lost 35 pounds.
Nice.
Just melted right off under his tutelage and help and keeping in touch with me and everything. But at the same time, folks that know the not retro limited, it's the Daz Retro, Tim Arnold, the Australian. Yeah, I'm having a brain fart, for Christ's sake. Retro Domination, sorry.
Retro Domination, yes.
Retro Domination has a subset called Retro Domination. It's Tim Arnold and Daza and Matt and a whole bunch of them. Tim also wanted to get in shape, and he and I are both refrigeration techs, so we've talked on Facebook a lot about work and stuff. And he was talking about wanting to get in shape. And I said, yo, Tim. Do you know Michael Yanacito? He said, yeah, I know Mike. I chat with him all the time. I said, you got to talk to him about getting in shape, man. He's awesome. He's really, really awesome as a trainer. They start talking. Next thing you know, he's helping Tim. And then Andy Rascal from the Rad Rascals podcast, another good friend, and he's been working out for quite a while and started trying to lose weight and get in shape. And he chats with Mike. He chats with both of us. Next thing you know, the four of us have formed this little group. It's sort of we back each other up, we help each other out, we motivate each other, and we've called ourselves the Buff Brothers.
Aww.
And so that's our crew. So we're basically bodybuilding gamers, and because there's not a lot of that out there, so that's sort of what we've made for ourselves. This little group. We've got our closed group that post motivational videos and pictures and compare workout notes. And, yeah, some of the pictures are a bit ridiculous. But yeah, so Michael is our muscle Yoda, and the rest of our the Padawans that are trying to learn at his knee, and he's the Crom to our Conan. So that's the story of the Buff Brothers. True story.
You will push weights, you will.
No, it's more like, you never three reps, you little jello baby man. You sorry little man, lift more. Look at you, you're fat and sweaty.
This just sounds like the nerdy adaptation to Pain and Gain.
Which is a good thing. I think it's as long as no one tries to do a heist and kill one another and kidnap a Jewish person, then I think
what is best in life? 1, to eat your protein every day. 2, to live until you feel the pump and the veins are vascular. And 3, to beat any game within an hour with one arm tied behind your back. These are the things that are best in life.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's the great thing about live radio. You can just press some buttons.
So that's the Buff Brothers. But I do also, Tam wants to chime.
Rob Man's just kind of disappeared there for a second. Hopefully they'll be back. Internet connection and stuff. So, hopefully Rob, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes, you're back. Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, you went dead for a minute. Tam wanted to. Well, yeah, we wanted to kick in a little bit of an extra story about how we got together. The far back story.
Go for it.
What are you
You're talking about the bit that's in that text right there.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the...
No, the Buff Brothers is done. No, I'm talking about us.
No, I thought you were still talking about the engagement.
Oh, the engagement thing as well. Yeah, that too.
Don't worry about that.
We'll do that.
Well,
Okay,
no, you're going to have to chime in a little bit because you're better at telling all the coincidences. But, yeah, it turned out that we had, little coincidental meetings from, when we were, I don't even know, in elementary school, kind of,
Okay, well, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you're better at telling this than I am. He's a better storyteller than I am.
So, you can chime in with bits and pieces.
Yeah, I'll add.
So,
things, but...
First of all, I'll do it in the order that the revelations came unto myself. Tamara was living in Richmond. I was living with my parents in North Delta, which for us is quite a long drive. There was no public transit that was really good for getting back and forth. So if she came to visit, she'd usually stay for the weekend at my folks' place.
And I was staying with a friend of mine. We were roommates.
So she's living in Richmond. My parents, I'm going to go visit her for a weekend. My folks are driving us down there. My parents lived in Richmond, up way before I was born. They drive up to the building, and they said, that's not where she lives, is it? And I said, well, yeah, that's where she lives. And they said, well, what apartment? And I said, it's that one, I pointed, it's that one up there. They said, okay, that's the building we lived in when we got married, and that's the apartment next door to the one that we lived in. So,
oh my God.
So I go upstairs. This is my first time at the apartment. I go upstairs. I go in. Hi, meet the roommate. It's all lovely. Go to the living room and stop and stare at a blue and white striped couch that's sitting there. That's very familiar to me. It used to belong to my parents. And you see, my parents gave it to my ex-girlfriend, Tanya Scrimbit. Tanya Scrimbit happens to be very good friends with Shonda Rivers, Tamara's roommate.
Yeah.
They have my couch. Okay, that's 2. Now,
weird.
through discussion, we find out that Tamara's dad used to be an air traffic controller. That's cool.
This was after. Oh, are
Yeah.
you jumping in the next thing with your brother?
Yeah, exactly. And so, her dad apparently used to know a gentleman named Fred Crone. They worked together for a while. Fred Crone has a son, Fred Crone Jr., my brother's high school best friend. My brother and his friend, Fred Crone Jr., did a project about computer programming in high school.
My dad was not working at air traffic control anymore. He'd moved into programming at this point, so.
They interviewed Fred Crone Sr.'s friend, Paul, for their project. That was Tamara's father.
Lemonade.
So, there's, kind of really didn't have much of a choice about getting married. It was kind of ordained.
It's really weird.
Is this real or did this fall out of a Nora Ephron script? I feel like I'm watching I feel like I'm listening to the premise for like a Nicholas Sparks novel.
It was the most bizarre coincidences ever. I've never
seen
had
anything
that
like
before.
that.
Well, we need to sell the rights to this to Hollywood.
Yeah, it was.
Starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
When I first started going to visit at the film school they were going to, I looked remarkably different from how I looked when Tamara started working with John at the company they were working at. When I was going to the film school, I had bleached blonde hair and I wore a fedora and a trench coat. Yeah, lemon yellow. I wore a trench coat and a fedora all the time, like the big wide-brimmed Judge Doom from Roger Rabbit style fedora. And kind of crazy sweaters and T-shirts and things, and it was very funky. And when they were working together, my hair was sort of the natural brown color, and I think I had it sort of brushed back at the time, and I was wearing more sort of businessy clothes because I was working downtown. So she thought we were two different people.
So can I just ask a question? Were you going for your let's kill all the tunes in Two-Town phase when you visited her school? That's probably why she kind of turned away. It was like, oh my God, it's Judge Doom.
But funny story, actually, I used to see him coming in with John, and I was in a relationship at the time, but I used to always look at that and say, he's probably one of those cool drama guys that would never talk to me, kind of thing.
The guys who was in drama class in high school that everyone liked and that was really popular but never talked to the geeky kids, that kind of guy. Yeah, she didn't realize that, because she didn't know me, she didn't know I was severely bullied entirely all the way through high school by people like that. But anyway, so when John said he wanted to set her up with a friend of his, she was like, well, I hope it's the guy with the yellow hair from the film school and not the guy that was going on the SkyTrain with him to work every day. Same person. True story.
Well, you were like in a really bad mood the one time I saw you on the SkyTrain or something. So I was like, who's that guy?
So it's probably Rob and Nega Rob.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Rob and Boar, his evil Bizarro Rob.
You should have
Boar, Bizarro Rob.
You should have him guest star on the Happy Console game of Bizarro Rob.
He hates every game ever.
Yeah.
No, the other thing is, of course, as gamers, we've progressed to where obviously we've gotten married. Our proposal was a bit of a comedy of errors, which I think should be shared.
Well, it was at Christmas time, and I was absolutely convinced, for some reason, I guess it was on my list and I'd really highlighted it or something, that Rob had gotten me a new pair of pajamas for Christmas.
Woohoo, pajamas!
I know, it's so exciting.
She is convinced of this.
I was convinced, because I have this weird ability to be able to guess gifts easily. I don't know why.
Yes, she does.
Except for this one year. But he had actually gotten me an engagement ring. But it was the night before Christmas. We were going to go spend the night at your folks.
No, we lived not too far from where my folks were at this point.
Yeah, we were going to pop over there.
We were going there for Christmas Day. So in the morning, Christmas Day, we were going to get up.
That's right.
And go visit them for Christmas Day, open the presents under the tree, the whole thing, the family dinner and all of that.
Okay.
So
and we had just gotten the
PS2. It had just launched. We had Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, and we were obsessively playing Jak and Daxter, and it was my turn, and I was really into playing this level. And Rob's like, oh, can you pause that for a second? I'd really like to give you your Christmas gift now. I was like, oh, why? You can just give it to me tomorrow with everybody. Okay. And he's like, no, I'd really, really like to give it to you. I was like, well, why? No, and I'm convinced it's pajamas, so I didn't think much of it.
Okay,
like, well,
now, I have to interject at this point. She's so into the game, she hasn't noticed me on the phone in the background with my mother, who is come to the front of the building because we were living in an apartment, and I've run downstairs, picked up the cut leaded crystal champagne flutes and bottle of champagne from her, come back upstairs, snuck them into the apartment, put them in the kitchen, put the champagne on ice. She's still playing Jack and Daxter and has no idea what's going on.
The game a little bit. So yeah, I noticed he's rummaging around in the background, but I mean he does that a lot, so I wasn't really paying attention to it much. But anyway, so he asked me to pause the game, and I'm like, no. He's like, no, seriously, pause the game. I was like, fine, I'll pause the game. I pause the game, and then he gets me to close my eyes, and I'm like, this is a little different than just, pajamas. Like, okay, and then he, of course, hands me this little box, and I'm like, I see.
So I get down on one knee, I propose, and she says, of course, will you marry me? Of course. And we're like, yay! And she said, okay, let me just save the game. You did. You insisted on saving the game before we cracked the bubbly and celebrating, and that's another one of the great reasons why I married you. Okay. So you can't get a more gamer wedding story than that. So there you go, folks.
I totally bow down to you, Rob, man. I totally do.
Okay.
My family didn't let me play with that too much, so.
Nick was actually saying something to me here on Facebook, which I just need to share with everybody. He goes, here's an idea. Why don't they have a Happy Console Gamer episode with Tam and Kim talking about basically how being gamer wives. I think he was basically hitting on the fact that he could actually do an episode with Tam and Kim just talking about the quirks that you and Johnny have. I think that'd be really interesting.
Oh my God. We can make a new series, The Real Gamer Housewives of Happy Console Gamer.
I wasn't sure how you would take it, Rob, so that's why I didn't say it.
No, dude, that would be fantastic. The Real Housewives of Happy Console Gamer has to happen now. That's fan-bloody-tastic.
You might have opened a can of worms there.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be marvelous. I can't wait. Okay, I'm telling Johnny about that tomorrow.
Let's open the forum up a little bit to the other guys here. I want people to ask a little bit of questions and stuff like that, of course, about you guys. And I'm going to start here, get the ball rolling. Is there a game that one of you likes that the other one hates?
Grand Theft Auto.
Yep. I really like playing Grand Theft Auto to blow off steam. I'm not allowed to have it in the house.
No, you keep saying it. It's not that you're not allowed to have it in the house. I just don't touch it.
No, anytime I'm playing it, you tell me how sorry you feel for the little people I'm running over, and it's mean and cruel, and you don't want it around.
Yes, but you have a man cave now, so.
Well,
you say man cave, we both use it.
Yeah, but you can go find them.
Okay, what's this man cave?
Okay.
The basement basically is his video game.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's ours because we both go down there to watch movies and play games, etc. But
Michael, I want you to do me a favor right now because I want to hear, because I don't think you've seen it yet. Go to my Facebook page while we're on here.
Okay.
Go to my photos, go to my albums, and look up the new Rob Man Cave. Those are photos of the basement, which is my man cave.
Photos.
I want to hear your reaction.
Okay, I'm looking. Okay, albums.
Doctor Who.
Probably a little over halfway down. Called the new Rob Man Cave.
Weird picture of you and two Deadpools, and you look way too happy. Okay.
Are you on albums?
Yes, I'm on albums. Is it on that one, or did you mean Rob's photo?
No,
it's in albums. I'm creeping it right now.
The album is titled the new Rob Man Cave.
Oh, the new Rob Man Cave. Okay.
Dude, the Mega Man Legends fucking standee is epic.
Not like the spoilers.
Oh, might be. Well, Burhan, there's a Mega Man Legends standee.
Oh, awesome.
Have you found it yet?
New games room.
No, not new games room. New Rob Man Cave.
Am I just going blind here? Seriously.
Burhan, you masturbated too much yesterday. You're going blind.
I am. That's probably what it is. I've just done it way too often.
That's not funny, guys. Somebody died recently because of that.
Did they?
Yeah, somebody posted it on a Facebook. I think it was through one of the pages that I've liked. Somebody died by doing it 56 times in one day yesterday.
That doesn't even make sense.
I think that might be it might be a troll post, but somebody posted it a guy
if you read it on the internet, it's fake.
Michael?
Yeah,
yes,
probably.
I found it.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much a tour. The first photo is as you come down the stairs. That's what you see as you turn right down the stairs.
Oh my god.
That's my new console games, and then there's the consoles and the 55-inch LED.
Oh wow.
The second photo is the framed shirt and the retro collection in the background by the leather couch.
Wow.
The third photo is the DVDs, Blu-rays, Laserdiscs, my Mega Man arcade game, and the Legend stand. The fourth photo is a mask signed by the guy that played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh my
and
god.
that painting is the crab boss from level 5 of Blaster Master, the game that got my wife and I together. She painted that for me.
That room is extremely epic. I can't believe.
So the fifth picture is my retro collection. That's all of my retro games and box systems and such. The top two shelves are all Mega Man.
Oh my god.
The sixth picture
No, Rob, come back! Explain more about your gaming room!
Game room blue balls.
Tell me about it!
Here.
Oh, you're back.
There we are. Sorry.
Zach was just saying you gave me gaming room blue balls because you didn't tell me the rest.
Oh, sorry. So, did you get up? Yeah, I killed you on your vinegar strokes.
Oh shit! Not yet.
Did you? So you saw the retro collection with the Mega Man 2 shelves up at the top there?
Oh yes.
Okay, the next one is the posters, but that's been updated. That Rob Man framed picture, by the way, is signed by Keiji Inafune, the creator of Mega Man.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
But there's now a large bead sprite of the Mega Man from Mega Man 3 when you get a weapon. They've pinned to that wall as well.
Wow.
And I also have the Mega Man 2 artwork waiting to be framed. It's the cover of the NES game from North America. That's the first print done by the guy who did the original artwork. And it's signed by him with a thank you note. The following photo is the mint on-card action figures from Jazzwares for Mega Man Classic Series and a couple of the X figures. The eighth photo is looking from the retro collection back towards the television. The little bookcase down there is filled with Game Fan, Nintendo Power, and art books. And the final photo is my beer fridge, because no man cave is complete without a beer fridge.
Oh, down freaking straight.
So, by the way, the first photo, or the eighth photo, where the consoles are, that needs to be updated because the current setup that is hooked up to that TV is an Xbox One, an Xbox 360, a Wii, a Wii U, a PS3, and a PS4.
Wow.
And then all the retro consoles are in those red cabinets underneath.
Dude, can I move in with you, please?
There is a bedroom in that basement with a full bath.
I guess room there.
Okay, I'm coming to your house.
You're welcome anytime, buddy. On by.
Damn, I will do. I'm actually planning a little trip in July, so I think I may have to stop at your place.
Yeah, Michael,
Pick me up because I'd love to have a beer.
You guys are
woken up at 7 in the morning by small children stumbling around upstairs.
You are welcome anytime, bud. We will talk offline, and seriously, I'll give you my address if you're coming to Vancouver.
Awesome.
Stay at my place.
I will do. And Tam, don't worry, I have small children of my own, so I understand totally about them basically walking like they're a herd of elephants.
We call them Thunderfoot and Stompy.
Yeah. I call them the herd of elephants, and my son basically broke my bed the last time he stamped on it. I spent a weekend basically pasting new boards onto the bed and screwing everything back together, and I was just like, I need a new bed.
A lot.
Stay away from this.
I was standing there with a drill, and I was like, son, what did we talk about not jumping on the bed? It was fun! Yes, it was, but now Daddy can't sleep properly.
Well, it's okay. Our older little guy, Mini-Man, managed to, without us knowing, unscrew our tap in our kitchen here. And we didn't know it was unscrewed because it was underneath the cabinet where it had come out because he twisted the faucet around so much that it just unscrewed itself. And so one day, Rob was doing a big bunch of hand wash dishes. And suddenly they were like, why is it kind of weirdly warm under the counter here? And we opened it up and there's just water everywhere. It had gotten down into the pipe access into the floor, and then we went down into the basement and there's this wet spot on the ceiling. We're like, oh my god! Luckily it dried out and there was no permanent damage or anything. It wasn't a whole lot of water, but yeah.
I could just see you sitting there going, roar. water everywhere.
Oh, we told him not to spin it around for that exact reason.
Yeah.
And of course, he's like, no, it's okay.
And there's Dad looking at him going, okay, really, if you're going to unscrew the tap, you need to tell me these things, okay? I'm the boss. I need the freaking info.
Well, he hasn't touched it since then. It scared him quite a bit that there was water everywhere. It's like, well, that's what we're talking about. We don't make this up.
Well, I had to have a long talk with my son quite recently, my little boy Rohan, because he thought it was funny to go around to loads of different men and punch them in the balls.
Oh my God.
You named your son after a city from Lord of the Rings?
No, his mother named him Rohan because I don't know what it means, but she named him.
It's the name of a city in Lord of the Rings, I believe.
It's actually an Indian name as well.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
my oldest is rather fond of America's Funniest Videos.
Ah!
Now, I had, shall we say, and we know of late I've had a lot of them, but it was a ways back, I'd had a rather horrible day. And I was lying on my bed, just miserable, and just like, you know what, everyone just go away, leave me alone, I really feel bad. And Mini Man was saying, oh, but Daddy, are you sad? And I said, yeah, Daddy feels really sad right now. And next thing I know, he's just reared right back and wham, punches me right in the balls. I pulled in half like an old flip-open cell phone, just head to feet. And I'm just lying there.
Yeah, and he starts crying because he doesn't understand what the heck is happening.
He doesn't get why I'm upset. I'm like in tears and trying not to scream. And Mom is going, why did you do that? And he says, I wanted to make you feel better. People laugh when it happens on AFV.
It's like, okay, conversation about the show.
Let's discuss what is a good feeling and what is a bad feeling. That was a no feeling.
Yeah, my little Rohan did that to me once as well, actually. It's like, we'll play fighting, and we have this thing where we play wrestling, and I'm on the floor, and he's basically trying to wrestle me and stuff. What he decided to do was, like, go back, and I'm lying on the floor, and I'm thinking, okay, he's gone, and pump me straight in the mandicles.
Oh, my God.
I was lying there on the floor, holding them, going, ah! Making this weird shriek. My daughter goes, Dad, are you okay? And my son's looking at me going, Daddy's just playing. I'm lying on the floor, and I'm no word of a lie. It took me a while to get back up because I needed to gain my breath. And it got so bad that I had to go to the bathroom afterwards because otherwise I was going to crap my pants.
Yep.
And he just sat there with a smile on his face. And then Daddy came downstairs after his long time in the toilet with his 3DS. Came downstairs and went, son, you don't do that to Dad. And he goes, and he just gave me a big smile, and he goes, that was funny. I said, that wasn't funny, not for Daddy, because Daddy feels now like he's half a man and probably needs to get checked by the doctor. Don't
Daddy's
do
also
it.
one of, you need to help Daddy find the other one.
Yeah, I swear, he kicked it so hard, I was afraid it was going to go back in.
My buddy, when my buddy was a kid, some other dude hit him in the balls with a baseball bat, and one of them went up and just disintegrated. He only had one. It was gone. Straight gone.
I tried to explain to my son that no, Daddy doesn't have mumps. That's my balls, and I need them back out of my throat and into my bag. So, you know.
I know.
So bad.
It's like people don't understand how, like, I think, like, kids don't understand how much it hurts. And I looked at him.
Until it happens to them.
Yeah.
Someday, someone's going to, and I told him a couple, because he's done it a couple times, and I'm like, someday someone's going to hit you there. And you're going to understand, son.
I know. It's so funny because the fact is him and his brother they play fight now, and you have the little one just jump off the sofa onto the big one, and they're all like rustling on the floor. So Rohan and Ehan are just having these like little mad matches and stuff. And I know for the fact if that little one keeps watching him do it, he's going to end up punching him in the balls. And he's going to be lying there on the floor as well, while his brother's standing there pointing and laughing. So I just put a stop to it before it gets that bad. You know, because the little one's like this little big thing. He's actually like, he's got my frame, so like Rohan's like the little skinny one, and Airhunt's this little big one who looks like he should be wrestling people for a living.
Same in our place. Our older boy is, he's sort of tall, and he's quite tall, but he's very thin. Yeah. And then the little guy is this little tank.
Okay, we actually have nicknamed them Mouth and Tank. And well, I mean, their names are Oren and Logan. Oren is eldest. Logan is youngest. Oren is 4.5, and he's wearing 6-year-old clothes.
Oh.
He's tall but thin.
Yes.
Logan is 2, and he's wearing hand-me-downs that his older brother was wearing 6 months ago. And he's fairly tall and a wide frame. So at 2, he's wearing like almost 4-year-old clothes.
Yeah, he's in a 4T.
Yeah, he's in a 4T now, but he's got the wide frame as well as the height.
He's such a little Buddha.
And he's a little happy guy until you take him off, and then the Scottish temper in his background comes out, and that kid can throw a tantrum like most people would throw bricks through windows.
Hans like that.
And I keep telling his older brother, don't pick on him, because someday he's going to be bigger than you, and he's going to thump you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to point at you and laugh.
It was actually, they've had that moment where Erhan like lost his temper because he would like kept picking on him and playing with him, and Erhan's just standing there looking a little like angry, and I saw the look on his face because it's the same look I get on my face if someone pisses me off to the extent where I've gotten very like angry and aggressive with them, and then usually that's the sort of time I lock myself away. And he's got this look on his face. He's like, and I'm looking at him thinking, oh shit, I know what's going to happen here. And he just went and battered Rohan, literally just shoved him, and the boy went back a foot onto the floor, and he's standing there crying. And he's going, Daddy, he hit me. I was like, I told you, you should have left him alone. And he's like a little monster, and I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, he could be a mini Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's just probably sitting there going, there, you little girly man, I'm going to destroy you. And it's actually quite funny because the difference between the two of them is ridiculous, because the fact Rohan is very tall and very thin, and he gets most of his like thinness sort of from his mum's side, but he's very tall, kind of like his dad's side. Erhan's this little one with like stubby legs but a very big upper body, and just to look at him, you know that he probably could mow someone down. I've had him like try and play fight with me one time and nearly half win me. He's so cute, and Rohan's like 3, Erhan's 2, and it's just so fun actually having these little men about who just want to create chaos.
Logan, cute and hilarious.
It's cute and hilarious, because half the time when they do their adult stuff, like they get angry, which you normally when you watch an adult get angry with someone else, it's like, oh god, he's pissed. With the kids, when they get angry, it's like Erhan stamps his feet. I just sit there and go, oh, and laugh.
Well, Logan, funnily enough, for a size comparison, he was born with his head in the 90th percentile and his body in the 50th.
Wow.
Now,
so everybody was a bit worried about that.
Yeah, we were a bit worried about that. We had a lot of visits to doctors and things. At present, his head is still in the 90th percentile, but his body is in the 75th for a 2-year-old.
Wow.
So,
catching up.
Big dome, solid like a brick, just like his old man. And he's got more of my build, the wider shoulders and the sort of the more stout build. So, and when he walks, I mean, he basically stumps. He doesn't really walk. He doesn't bend his knees much. He just sort of stomps around everywhere. But it's adorable because he's smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
That's the same thing with Erhan as well. He'll smile at you like constantly, to the point when you piss him off. If you piss him off, that's it. He'll just stand there and he'll stamp his feet, and he'll look at you and go, yeah. And you just sit there and you crack up with laughter. Now I think his big thing he says now is mine. So I got them bikes for Christmas, and you look at his bike and he goes, my bike, my bike. I was like, you mean bike, son? My bike. I was like, okay, that's your bike, sweetie. And he doesn't understand the process of pedaling at the moment, so I'm pushing him around everywhere on the bike. So I'm trying to teach the other kids how to ride their bikes, and I'm pushing him. And every time I leave him, he goes, Dad, bike. I was like, okay, I'm pushing you. All right. He's like the little one who's got the pants on the family as well. And I have to admit as well, they all enjoy gaming as well. It's the one thing I've managed to pass down onto these little people is they love games. I was playing like Super Mario 3D World and stuff with them. They love that. They love the Nintendo Wii U, and it's an amazing thing to actually watch them sit there and go through all the levels. Rohan basically doesn't understand the concept in some of the levels. Like there's this level where you hit the bricks and it changes the color from like yellow to blue. He's the only one he doesn't get it. So when they're playing together, he'll literally, as Toad, go around hitting random bricks. So as the girls have nearly got it done, he just comes in and like stomps about everywhere. Or he'll press the A button because he knows that the A button turns him into a bubble. So he'll coast through the level and let his sisters do it. And it's just so funny. Like, Dad, he's not playing. And I was like, just give him a second. He'll be fine. And then he gets upset now because he gets it from my nephew. He gets upset if he doesn't complete a level and get to like the at the end of the level where you've got like the big flag. Yeah. If he doesn't get to the flagpole, he ends up crying. And he's like, Dad, I didn't get to the flagpole. And I was like, Rohan, it's fine. It's just a game. You'll get the next time. Dad, I'm not first place. I didn't get the crown. I was like, Dad, okay, it's fine. It's okay. And there was a video I actually did recently because my little one was so hilarious. Was he would end up, like, we were singing a Sonic song because the kids wanted to do a YouTube thing with me, and I said, okay, we'll do it. And for one of my videos, it's got them at the end singing Follow Me. It's like, follow me, set me free, and that at the end. Erhan's just at the back trolling everybody, going, blah! Blah! I was just like, sitting, and the camera, I just pointed the camera straight to him, and he stops every time the camera goes to him. So I go back and focus on the other kids, and he goes, blah! I'll find that video and I'll post it on my Facebook.
I'm amazed you're letting them play the new stuff already, man.
Yeah, they love it. You know, the kids, in a sense,
I've refused. My eldest is the only one that's playing right now. He started with Pac-Man, and until he could clear a screen of dots, he didn't get anything else. And then he got to play a little bit of Galaga, and then he got the 8-bit Nintendo. And once he was proficient, he's done some Super Mario. He's really good at Mega Man 2. I don't know why. And he's played a lot of, what was it? Oh, he likes Tetris. And he likes Contra. He and I have finished Contra together about 5 times now. So now he's playing the Sega Master System. And once he's proficient at that, he can get the Genesis, and then the Super NES. And I'm making him do a tiered education system.
We did play Katamari Damacy with him for a while.
Okay, yeah. Well, Mum snuck some PS2 in there when I wasn't looking. I'm trying to make them, work their way up the way that we had to. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, the funny thing about with my little ones was they actually worked their way up very organically because I started them off when they were very young, when we first had the girls, with the Wii, and then I got the Xbox 360, so they started playing that. And then I organically moved them up to the Wii U. And the most of the games that they play, I download like the Virtual Console stuff.
Nice.
So quite recently they played, because it was really, really cheap as well, because they managed to get like, they were doing all these like Nintendo sales and stuff like that. And I purchased them, I got Rohan to play Donkey Kong. And he was actually pretty good at it. He understood how, like, Mario sort of bounces over the barrels and stuff like that as Donkey Kong throws the barrels at him. And, he carried that over when he started playing, like, NES Remix. And the girls are very intelligent, so they understand how to actually go for the game very easily. The stuff I kind of steer them away from is anything that's kind of too hard. That's just for the 2 mini ones. The girls are fine with it because they can actually understand the process. Hina, I think you guys have probably seen the photo of her. She's the one who looks really excited with the Mario 3D World in her hand.
Yes, that's so cute.
Yeah, she's like the super excited one. She's gotten her gaming ability from me because she can actually look at a game, assess what she's doing, and play through the entire game. I can leave her with a control pad and she'll just go crazy. Where the other 3 are more sort of in the sense you have to sort of give them a bit more encouragement. But, they're great. They know what they're doing. They have a great sense to it. I have had times where I've sat down with my retro collection and talked to them about it. Don't worry about that as well, by the way. Ladies and gents, we're going to be going on to the live archive in a bit. Once the archive's fully loaded, it's an extra hour there for those who want to keep on with us after the show. If there's anybody at the moment who wants to make their way to sleep, because I know it's pretty late for you. Miguel, are you okay to stay on for the...
I'll stay on if you want me to. I really honestly have had nothing to add to this whole conversation, but I'll stay on if you really want me to be here to kind of just chime in with something funny.
Totally up to you. And, okay, so we've got the majority of people are staying on. So join us on the archive show, guys. There's going to be more fun stuff talking about it as well. For those who've been listening live, you won't get it until the archive has been uploaded later on. So we've got an extra hour on us if we need that. And we'll see you guys in the archive.
Hold on. Can I add one last thing to this?
Go for it.
I'd like to I think we both should offer a special shout out to Chris Dace for his 24-hour Dace-tacular thing that he did today.
Yes. In the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you must watch the Dace-tacular gaming for a cause, because they are real men, and you are like girly men, because they're staying up now from 4 o'clock in the evening Eastern Standard Time, and they are staying until tomorrow morning at 12 p.m. Yes, girly men.
Yeah, our buddy Dace, he's doing a live video gaming session on his Twitch account. I'm sure Burhan has pimped out that Twitch account numerous times today. He's doing it for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Yeah, it's
St. Jude's Children's Hospital, guys. And the thing is, they're only on $600 at the moment. They need $400 more to meet that $1,000 goal. If you can do it, there's a free I Got Gameplay t-shirt. There's one that I'm sending for this lovely man, Zach Lator, for his birthday, with the Silent Hill I Got Gameplay poster on it. I'm going to get it signed by everyone. I'm going to be paying for this t-shirt to make a round-the-world trip to be signed by every single host in the I Got Gameplay podcast. And we're going to try and get some of our guests, including Rob and Tam here, to sign that t-shirt as well. So I'm going to be paying for that postage to send this thing around the world, to get it globally signed by everybody who's appeared on the show. So make sure, guys, you bid your hearts out, because we reached that $1,000 goal. I will be extremely happy and proud. Remember, this is for kids. This is not for, like, some people who are looking to do a Kickstarter to make $1 million movie. We are looking to do this for children. It means so much more. So please, somebody, think of the children. I don't have that on this board.
Oh, somebody please think of the children.
Thank you, Miguel. So there you go, ladies and gents. So let's keep on talking. Now, the one thing I always find when it comes to, like, and that's the great thing I could say with you, Rob, and with you, Tam, also, you're instilling those gaming values that you two hold onto your kids. Now, Miguel, I want to kind of bring you in on this as well. You've got a little sibling, haven't you?
Yeah.
Does your little, like, is it your little sister, is it, I believe?
Yeah, she's 9.
Does she play games?
No. She has consoles, but it's more of a hassle to try to get her to play them than anything else. I mean, she forced my parents to get her a Wii, and I even pitched in and got her a couple of games. I got her Super Mario Galaxy, because her big complaint was that a lot of the games she had were multiplayer, because they bought her, like, the Wipeout video games, because she's a big fan of the series. They bought her Mario Kart Wii, which is the one game that she actually does play, but she complains she doesn't have any single-player stuff, so I went out and I bought her Super Mario Galaxy, and she just doesn't play it. She's like, I just don't feel like it, you know. I remember a couple of years ago when I gave her my Game Boy Advance, when I moved out, I gave her my Game Boy Advance, and I bought her the Super Mario Advance 4, which was the Super Mario Brothers 3 remake. And she played it for a little bit, but she's just not a gamer. I think she does it mostly because it's something that her and I can do, because obviously I'm a huge gamer. But she has the Wii because it was the hot game to get, everybody wanted, and she obviously has the Game Boy Advance and the DS that my parents gave her, but she just doesn't play games. She has all this stuff, and I've been trying to get her to play more stuff, but it's just not her thing.
Where is that boo sound effect when you need it?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've been trying. I mean, every time I go over, I try to get her to play the Wii.
She's a little baby girl, though, Zach. Come on. Zach, don't touch my hand, Zach. What are you doing, Zach? No, I can't do this to the poor child. No. Boo! Damn you, Zach. Touching my hand.
You know what? I'm okay. Look, I'm okay with it because, you know, I fine, I get it. You know, it's just not her thing. But I kind of blister her about it. I'm like, why do you force people to buy you Wiis and DSs if you clearly don't play video games? She just looks at me. She's like, I don't know. Like, why? Why do you like, give me your Wii. I'll play it. I'm not a big fan of the Wii, but if I got a free Wii, I'll play it.
If I got a free one, I'll play it.
Yeah, if it's free, I'll play it. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to actually buy a Wii, but if my sister gave me hers, I'd be like, yeah, I'll play it. You know, Super Mario Galaxy, from what I played of it, was pretty fun. You know, I just, you know, like I said, I'm not going to try to force her. I've tried. It doesn't work. It's just not her thing. You know, she's a girly girl. You know, she's not a huge nerd. So I'm okay with that. You know, like I said, once in a while, let's play the Mario Kart Wii. She is good at that. So that's something.
Okay. What about you, Nick? Have you got like a sibling or a younger like relative that you play games with?
I actually have a 15 going on 16-year-old nephew who we constantly actually talk about games whenever we have the chance. And it's more my niece that you cannot get to play the games that we like. If you actually play games with her, she gets mad. She wants to win.
Is she a sore loser?
I don't play fighting games with her.
Oh, well, what happens? Do you guys get into like a whole sort of...
No, we don't have... I just get really determined, and then I just get frustrated. I'm like, I'm not playing this anymore.
Do you have those?
But I get really mad.
Do you have those like Carla and Turk arm wrestle bits where he like gets her down and like, this is what you did, Carla. This is what you did when you messed with the warrior. No one.
I love how your voice is just defaulting to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So I do that a lot. So, Sarah, what about you and Scott? Do you have any like younger siblings that you play with, and do you hope to sort of get your kids into gaming?
I only have a twin sister, but Scott has some little cousins who are starting to get into games a little bit.
Yeah, like every time that my little cousins came over to my parents' house before I moved out, we used to, like, I had Minecraft, and they played Minecraft before, so I would set up...
They beg you to set up Minecraft and then help them play the Wii and stuff as well.
Yeah, so, like, we would play Minecraft, and, you know, I'd set it peaceful and stuff like that, so all they did was build and, you know, make sure that they don't do anything super destructive.
Yeah.
And also another thing...
They're like 9 and 6. There's another little one, he's 2. He's a little bit young for games right now, so they'll get him in on that eventually.
Yeah, and their dad is a big gamer too, so...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he plays WoW and stuff like that. And, so I'm pretty sure that they're doomed to be a gamer, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, probably know it's going to be a...
It's a weird thing as well, because I kind of got into gaming from my dad's love of games, because my dad had a ColecoVision, which I'm going to give a big shout out to the Gamester 81, because I purchased a Gamester 81 cart from ColecoVision. And, you know, I've still got that. I've still got the original ColecoVision, because this thing, for those people who don't know, this thing has a big brick of a power supply. If you think your Xbox 360 power supply is huge, check out the ColecoVision. The thing looks like it would destroy armies with this, how much heat is in this power supply. It could heat a room with this power supply. And it always used to overheat. So every time we play a game, we'd play like Donkey Kong on it, I play Mr. Do, or I'd play like Pac-Man or something like that. The ColecoVision would always overheat, so we'd have to like play it for a couple of hours, leave it for say like a day or so, and then play again. You know, it was one of those consoles where it was so great to play, so very addictive, but it would just overheat constantly. So I totally understand where you're coming from that one. What about you, Zach? Have you got like a little like nephew or niece that you guys play games with?
You know, I have twin sisters that are 2 years older than me. They're twins. We're not triplets or anything.
Well, hey.
But
sure you wanted a girl before Zach. Come on, tell us the truth.
Yeah, no, we used to be 3 girl triplets, and then my mom used to give me pigtails until someone else told me that I was a boy.
So that's what it's for.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, but
wasn't that the
you know,
plot
it's funny
to
because my
Sleepaway
sisters
Camp?
are. It was actually from a recent Shameless, or a couple seasons in, where the girl was like, "That's my lady wiener" or whatever, and so they're like, "You're a boy." Sorry. Anyway, Shameless is a TV show you guys should all watch. Yeah, but my sisters are older than me by 2 years, and they're twins, but they are so fucking professional. Like, my sisters, like, work for the state. They're, like, social workers, you know, like, legit, like, serious shit, and they don't play any video games. Recently, my grandpa's really old, so recently we've had to stay at his place a lot to help him out, and I brought a Super Nintendo, and, you know, like, when we go out to, you know, go vacation somewhere, I've always been, like, a Nintendo 64 or Nintendo, and you see my sisters just, as soon as they kind of, you know, make their way into the room. The next thing I know, like 5 hours of playing video games, and my sister's whining that she's got the Nintendo knee, and she's limping around the house, you know? So, yeah, I love playing with the two of them. I mean, I really don't have any other nephews or nieces that I hang out with regularly, so.
Oh, well, that's awesome, though, dude. Completely, utterly awesome, I believe. What about you, Travis? Because I know you and your girlfriend are basically are really tight at the moment. She's your fiance now, I believe. Do apologise. What about you guys? Do you have any like nieces, nephews, anyone that you play gaming with?
For me, I really don't have family members that I know of who play video games, so that I go around and play with them. Sometimes I'll play my 3DS with my sister. She has one, and we just talk about whatever games we have that, like we have both have a copy of the game for our systems. We just two-player co-op where we can, or do that whole download play thing. She's about the only one in my family who actually does as much gaming as I do. But that's not saying too much because the only gaming she does is with her 3DS. What about you, Courtney? Do you have any nieces or nephews or other family members gaming with you?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, my mother, my brothers, and my sister. Although my sister doesn't play nearly as much as the rest of us.
I was wondering what's happened to Rob, man. That he's disappeared. Hopefully when he comes back.
Skype's being a dick tonight.
It is. Skype is not allowing us to have a very good conversation on calls. But hopefully we're going to get them back.
What, you mean Skype's giving you problems? What? What is this wizardry you speak of?
Exactly.
Nothing? All right. Burhan, can you pull up a boo real quick?
Never
mind, you suck.
How about...
Always have that on hand.
How about...
Fair enough.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Also...
And also what?
I don't know. There you go. Talk about freaking delay. That's like lag and a half.
Bring that out.
Right, Bob's for some reason been kicked from our call for some weird reason. Hopefully they're going to come back.
Keeps hanging up on us.
Hey, Rob, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Sure. Oh, now it's all cutting out again.
Yes.
They took our germs.
They took our germs.
It's all cutting out weird.
Everyone sounds like Transformers.
You're back. You were back.
Wow, like half a syllable going on here.
I can hear it.
Can everyone hear us okay?
Yes, you're back. You're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please stay. Don't make me thank you. So let's through a few random questions then. Anybody want to give Robin Tam questions? I like Travis goes, please stay, we love you. So let's start with a few questions. Do you have a question you want to ask Robin Tam?
Yeah, do you guys ever cosplay anything as a couple? Yeah, nay.
Rob, Tam, you there? Garble, gabble, something else. Going to reset the puta and call back. Okay, they're going to call back in a second. So while they're calling back, let's go and let's do around what I'd like to call couples questions. So we're going to ask people an embarrassing question about one another. We can pretend that me and Miguel are a couple. Miguel, are you the fork or the spoon?
I think we should see other people.
Ah, damn you, Miguel. It's broken up.
Listen, it's not you, it's just me.
It's me, isn't it? Is it because I'm too gay, Miguel? Is it because I'm too gay? Is it because I went to the LGBT and talked about how I'm a closet homosexual and everyone said they already knew it to begin with? Wait, no, that was Ellen Page.
I was actually going to bring that up in the news section.
All right, go on, let's talk about it now then.
Topical.
Talk about it now.
I was going to... No. We already passed the news section. Let's get onto your main event topic.
Okay, so
I had a question.
Go for it.
Was it the crying that led to masturbation, or the masturbation that led to crying?
The crying that led to masturbation.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah, because if you can't have the masturbation, the only time masturbation leads to crying is if you're masturbating over a knife, and I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Pour hot sauce on it.
Yeah, or you put hot sauce on it. I've done that before, but we're not even going to get into that. Okay, let's ask you, Travis, you and your lovely girlfriend. What games do you like? What genre of games do you like to play?
That's a good question. Wow, I mean, we are really picky about the games that we play. I mean, I don't know about Courtney, but for me, I've always loved like the older games. There's like stuff that came on NES and Super NES. I rarely do RPGs. I don't do a whole lot of them. But I know a couple games that we played quite a bit of. We played Kirby and Lego, the Lego Movie video game. So I guess stuff kind of like in that vein. What about you, Courtney?
Yeah, I agree. I do also like a lot of the older games too. I just don't have any anymore.
Okay. Let's ask Zach. What game do you and Kyla disagree on? What game do you love that she hates, and vice versa?
Well, she loves Tekken, which I despise. I hate that game. I think it's boring as hell and it's annoying.
As far
as something.
Well, hey.
What's up?
Speaking of the home of Tekken, I was at the Namco Bandai offices. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get back to you.
Oh yeah.
I want a horse.
I mean, there's a bunch of things that Kyla hates that I play. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Because I think she used to not be into RPGs because there's like so much reading and they're kind of slow. But recently she's been really into RPGs. So I mean, I guess I hate Tekken, but I can't really think of a game that she's hating on that I play. Yeah, I don't know. But Tekken sucks, so yeah, fuck Tekken.
Does she not like the fact that you play porn games?
No, she doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. I mean, she's been like an artist since she was younger, so she loves a lot of that artistry. Like I don't know if it's Art Deco or what it's called with like the naked women. Like I remember when I was living in a different place and she'd come over, she would just like Google like Rule 34 like Disney characters and laugh at like Aladdin's like veiny dick getting sucked by like Jafar or some shit, you know. And so she would just do shit just to laugh at it.
She is the weirdest girl I've actually ever experienced having a conversation with, because the last conversation we had was about you pooping, and I was just like going,
yeah.
And she talked about the fact that you don't wipe your ass, and I was sitting there going, awesome, this girl is awesome. And then she talked about girls that she would like to bone. I was looking at you and I thought, Zach, she is awesome.
Absolutely.
Hello, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back. would you like to ask a question to Rob, man? We were talking about the fact that his girlfriend Kyla talked about girls that she would like to bone.
Did I join the wrong conversation? just a minute.
Just give it a second. It'll sink in.
Sorry, I'm just using the song to try and fix the timeline. I think I'm in the wrong place.
Yes.
No, yeah. Well, she's a handsome ass guy. She's like, I'll give him a one too. You know, I mean, it's, for the most part, you can tell. Like, if you see a good-looking guy, you know that, like, I know probably if it was Kyla and him on a deserted island, she'd be sucking his balls.
What's up? She's talking about women she'd like to sleep with.
Yeah, she did that on an episode of I Got Gameplay, and I just looked at her and thought, Zach, if I had my hand to you now, I would shake your hand and say, kudos to you, sir. Kudos.
Bobby, if you weren't my son, I'd hug you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was doing my hand killing impersonation.
No, I'm trying to figure this out. Did you or did you not say she talks about women she wants to try and sleep with?
I think she said she would only bone someone like Laura Croft and what's that girl? What's the other girl from the Avengers? The
Black Widow.
She played like Black Widow. Yeah, but what's the girl's name?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. So she'd get down with those two broads. But other than that, what's up? I'm sorry.
Was that the point that was being made here? Was that she said she wants to sleep with other women or just with other men? Or what? I got lost.
I hear like 1 out of every 5 words for some reason. I don't know.
Basically, I think basically what he's trying to say and what I agree with wholeheartedly is, for me, the fact that she would actually expressed the fact that she would like say to Zach, "Hey, go get her." I would too. It brings a tear to my eye. Zach.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. In my very morbid view.
Now, why do I have such shitty reception right now?
I have no idea. I think it's Skype. But hopefully.
Okay.
Can everyone hear us okay?
I can hear you guys fine. Miguel, are you okay?
All right. I'm gonna disconnect and I'm gonna come right back. Hang on a sec.
Okay. It's probably just Zach then for some reason.
Here it's
ridiculously
windy out here, so I don't know if it's gonna cause us to have a or something.
Some people say the wind is God's farts.
No, that's thunder. I've seen Ted.
Yes. You need to get your thunder, buddy.
Wow.
So when did God fart? Then I guess this was Taco Tuesday then.
So let's ask you. Let's do a round of questions. Before we were that you guys had your problem with the Skype, I was actually gonna throw a few questions at everybody. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna call this couples questions. So we're gonna have everybody in the panel ask each other a very nice question about the couples gaming, what they enjoy to do, what they don't. And for us single people like myself, Nick, and Miguel, you get to ask us questions about ourselves and what gaming habits we like, etc. So let's start with Tam. Who would you like to put a question to?
So we just recovered from the weird garbled everything.
You have the choice of Sarah and Scott, Miguel, Nick, myself, and also Travis Goss. And Travis, what's your lovely girlfriend's name? Courtney.
Well, I've got a question. I guess I could go to any of the couples. Do you find who plays more of the game, like actually holding the controller, and who likes to sort of sit back and watch and help with hints with puzzles and that kind of thing?
Ooh. All right, I'm back.
Hi.
So
we'll start this off by sending it to Sarah, and then you guys can sort of work your way around the group from there.
Yeah.
For the local people. I guess it depends on what game it is.
Yeah, because I've been playing The Last of Us.
I can't do it.
And Sarah, she hasn't even touched the controller at all.
Well, I did a little bit when we borrowed it. Playing the game stresses me out too much, but I like watching it. Whereas with things like RPGs, I usually take the helm and he likes to watch, and sometimes I just give it over. So it really depends on what game it is.
Yeah.
That's us too. Same thing. Tamara will not play the survival horror, but I let her take the helm on the RPGs.
Well, I played all of them.
It's so stressful. I'm just like, I can't do this.
My one experience trying was with Resident Evil, and basically I spent the time.
No.
I have two. Okay, I have two experiences. One was with Resident Evil. I tried playing it, and I ended up just running into the corner constantly when the zombies attacked my head, and I was just freaking out, like, I can't figure out how to. I was just too stressed out to do anything. So I was like, okay, you play this. And then with Fatal Frame, I was like, no, I'm going to play this game. I'm going to play Fatal Frame. I want to play a scary game. Oh, I'm going to do it. And then I tried playing it, and I got into the first sort of little hallway where a ghost walked across with this little creepy kind of music, and I was like, I don't want to go in that room.
Oh, no. She got mad at me because, well, not me. She was like, I'm playing this one. This one's mine. This is my game. I want to play. And so...
To clarify, I wasn't mad. I was just very determined.
Yes.
It was a pattern.
So I gave, because she was like, you play all the scary games. I'm playing this one. So I give her the controller. She walks in at the beginning, for anyone that knows Fatal Frame, black and white beginning, looking around with the flashlight, and when you go from the first room, which is all broken down like Japanese mansion, into a hallway, and it goes... And you see a ghost walk by at the end of the hall. She backed the guy out of the room and then froze and then put the controller down and stared at it for 10 seconds. And then she picked it back up, walked back into the room, walked back out, put the controller down, looked at me and said, I can't play it, you do it.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
At least you tried, though.
That was the first Bioshock for me.
Oh, really?
Like,
I want to get Bioshock Infinite. Sorry, just reminded me.
Sorry, just quickly going off the story. Like, I remember right near the beginning of the game where you see this dentist area, and you go in and the screen kind of has this, like, icy effect, and then you see a dead body, and then you go in a bit further, and I remember saying, oh, hey, tonic. So I grab the tonic, turn right around, and there's this place right behind me. After that, I'm like, I can't touch this game again.
Yeah, just some games you like completely frick that up.
Huh?
Too much nerves. They can't do anything properly.
I know. It's supposed to stress out, right?
Okay, so Sarah, Scott, who are you going to point your question to, and what's the question?
I'll let you point the question.
Travis and Courtney. I think I got your names right?
Yeah, you did.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what's the question? You guys just type it out as well.
I have a question right now.
Aw, honey, come on.
Yeah, I think
Something random.
How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A lot.
A lot. Yeah, a lot. There you go. So Travis, Courtney, who do you want to direct a question to out of Miguel, Nick, myself, and also Zach? But Zach answers for himself and Kyla, of course.
I'm just going to throw this question out to the main couples here. What video game have you guys played together cooperatively that has caused the most arguments, and how did you resolve it? I'll start with Robman. Okay, Zach, you go first.
Oh, well, no, I'm just going to say the most problems we have is when we play Pocky and Rocky because Kyla's always sliding around the fucking screen and bumping into me, and I don't want to be bumped into. And I understand you can use that as an offensive maneuver, but I don't like to use that tactic. And she's always bumping into me and always pretends like she didn't do it, and I didn't bump into her because I'm going the other way. And she's like, I didn't do it. I'm like, no, you pressed the slide button and you bumped into me. And normally, I don't know. It just gets to a point where I'm just like, I hate this game, and that's that. I don't want to play anymore. So yeah.
Rob and Tam, what about you guys?
Well, we're just trying to discuss. With cooperative games, we've never really gotten into moments like that about like we don't tend to argue, but again, that's why we don't play the fighting games because that's when it gets a little interesting.
We don't compete because she gets mad.
But with the co-op games, we've never really had any. Like we tend to work together pretty well. So
matter of fact, case in point, we played through Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance together on the PS2, and the entire time it's a loot fest game. But because we play such different classes of characters, anytime awesome loot came out, it was just, well, you're more the engineer mage, you take that, and I'm more the tank, I'll take that. And so we split everything evenly.
And of course, deteriorated into a large bee dwarf and a elf dancing around in underwear in the fountain, but we won't discuss that.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that. But wait.
Laughing our asses off.
Yeah, the fountain in the main town. we stripped all their armor off and had them prancing around in the fountain, laughing our heads off.
Doing pirouettes.
There was no alcohol involved in that moment. This message brought to you.
Drink safely, people.
You should not drink and game.
Because drinking and gaming is for girly men.
So there you go. We don't fight.
Yeah, in the co-op ones, we don't tend too much.
Yeah.
Even with stuff like the Zelda, the Four Swords, we were always splitting the rupees evenly so that we both had the same.
Okay. The one I'm going to ask about the one game, and hopefully no one throws a plate at me. What about Mario Party?
We don't play it.
We haven't really played it much.
Not smart move.
We haven't played it yet either.
Yeah.
Because apparently that game breaks up friendships.
Oh,
I've been told.
Get ready to split up your shit if you're playing Mario Party.
It's like
Mario Party, the number one reason gamer couples divorce.
Yeah, you can be like, Zach, why did you and Carla break up? We played Mario Party.
We played Mario Party.
Write down a prenup before you play Mario Party.
I got the getting your, and she got the nerd on.
Yeah.
So now we have two.
I bet you if you check divorce records, every gaming couple under reason for divorce, it just says Mario Party.
Number one.
Yeah, the police were called to the house, and she brutally beat the husband. What was it about? Mario Party. Yeah.
No, I've been an officer in the Vancouver district for a long time. We're responding to a 3716 right now. 3716 is domestic violence dispute involving Mario Party. You know what? They get ugly. The last one I had to deal with, it involved a compass protractor in areas of a man's anatomy that should never be. Takes a strong stomach to deal with this job. Strong stomach. It's a hard job.
I saw some things.
I think I saw that episode of Cops. I don't remember, though.
Involving Mario Party.
That was to serve him.
I've seen shit.
Wow.
I've seen shit that would make you go white. So what about let's throw that over there to Sarah and Scott. Has there been a game that made you two want to strangle each other in a nice way, of course?
It wasn't cooperative. I think it was Skyward Sword.
What? No, I wanted to strangle the game, not you.
Oh, well, no, yeah, but we got really frustrated and we were kind of biting each other's heads off a little bit.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the second time that we went to the desert.
Yeah, also the friggin' tide turns.
Oh, those things.
It's the last bit of the game, it's fucking frustrating.
So, the two parts of the last, third of the game that just made me put down the controller for at least a good couple of years or so was when the whole entire forest is flooded. Yeah, Skyward Sword. And, the forest is flooded, and for whatever reason, the controls for swimming sucks.
They're so, arbitrary compared to walking and stuff. It's just what the fuck?
So I finally gave up on that. I was like, okay, fine, I'm done.
And then when we put it back a year and a half later, we're like, cool, okay, we can do this. We went up to the desert the second time, and he walked into this room, and it was bee moss everywhere, and I'm like, dude, no, you have to slash the thing. He's trying to kill it with arrows, and he's yelling at me, and then he died, and he's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm like, you can try, you know how to beat the game. He's like, no, I'm like, well, I don't feel like playing either.
Everything was electrocuting me, so I couldn't move, and then things were attacking me, so I just kept on, getting more and more down, so I'm done. I'm done.
So I'm probably going to pick that up in another 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm never going to finish this game.
Okay. So, Miguel, what about you? What games have led you to nearly strangle someone? What kind of co-op games have led you into a situation where you just don't want to talk to someone after playing them?
Are we limited to couples? Because then I got nothing.
No, friendships, couples, relatives.
NFL
you and your
Blitz.
wiener.
Yeah, you and your wiener.
I gotta go with NFL Blitz then. It's me and my younger brother. We would get into fights over that game.
Oh Lord.
Oh no, I love the game. The game is great. I love playing NFL Blitz, but that's a game that just like you said, you get competitive when it comes to stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, the only other game I could think of would maybe be Mario Kart 64. But, I'm older now, so I see that in a different light. I don't get as uppity about losing it anymore. That's the thing, like, younger-wise, yeah, I used to get uppity with stuff like that, but as you get older, I don't really hold it to heart anymore.
Okay, what about you, Nick? Have you ever, ended friendships and relationships over a game?
I actually wanted to beat the crap out of someone over a video game. I'm not going to say the name of the person, but what happened was it was Mario for the SNES, and they kept trying to get me to die over and over because they wanted to play the game.
And then people ended up losing their lives. For me, I think the game that kind of pissed me off and ended up nearly losing friendships, I believe all Mario games on the Wii and Wii U, and I'll say the reason, apart from Mario 3D World, Super Mario Brothers Wii U is annoying when you're playing multiplayer, and I can tell you why. I have situations when I'm playing with my kids or my nephew, and they will play the game and try and speed through it. And you know what happens when you speed through it and someone gets stuck near a warp pipe? They instantly die.
Oh, why?
So I get into a situation where I will purposely pick the person up that's doing that and throw them off a cliff.
Nice.
See, I've learned to not play competitive games with little children because technically you're not allowed to really win.
Yeah, that's actually kind of true because my nephew ends up crying every time I try to kill him.
Yeah, you know what? I disagree with that. You don't learn to truly be competitive and enjoy a victory until you've earned it. You don't give things to people because then they don't learn how to earn things.
Yes, I agree with you on that one.
You all need to go play Ratchet and Clank All for One. Go get 3 other people and play that game, and just troll the shit out of each other. It's amazing.
If I ever played, Johnny and I once played Four Swords Adventures together on the Game Boy Advance, and literally it just turned into who could pick each other up and throw each other in the water fastest.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen with the Ratchet and Clank games. Who could throw each other off the cliff and run as fast as the most treasure, all the time.
Yeah, my worst, with my nephew, I end up picking him up. Do you know when you get onto lava stages, like Bowser stages? I would pick him up and throw him into lava.
Yeah, of course. That's strategy. That's called strategy.
He's like, Uncle, what are you doing? Nothing. Uncle, can you stop? Why are you picking me up? I'm not picking you up. Why are you... I'm dead! Yes.
You sound like a Dolan Duck comic. Do you read Dolan Duck?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You sound just like a Dolan Duck.
But it's one of those things that does piss me off. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. If you're going to play the damn game, play it properly. Don't run past everybody else in the level and then get into a situation where someone's stuck. Because we all end up dying, and it just loses lives, and it's meaningless, and then you don't get to the end of it, which is fine. If you want to compete, that's fine. Just let everybody go at the same pace as you. But we're all standing there hitting Goombas and stuff, and he just runs past everyone so he can get to the end of the level. So I just start picking him up and throwing him everywhere. But,
yes.
I've become such a big bully, so to the point where I've just put the pad down and I've let him play it on his own with the other kids. Because it gets to the point where I just get really competitive with my gaming. It even happens in Castle Crashers. I play Castle Crashers with my nephew and my 2 daughters, and it gets annoying because we end up at the end bit where you go to save the princess. They will stand there, and it turns into a tournament fight thing where you have to kill each other in order to get the princess, and I end up beating the living crap out of them, and then they all start crying. And that's why we don't play Castle Crashers anymore.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. It's like, stop crying. Stop crying. Stop crying now. I'm turning your Xbox off.
Rage quit.
Exactly.
I think Travis has and Courtney have a story they want to share too.
Go for it, Travis.
In my case, it was actually GoldenEye. We used to play that growing up, me, my brother, and his friends and everything, the multiplayer version of it, and I always lost. They nicknamed me Kool-Aid Girl because I was always covered in blood. I hate that game.
Jesus.
Now I'm thirsty all of a sudden.
For what, Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid.
That actually just makes me want to watch a vampire movie, but still.
Vampire Academy, awesome movie.
But which one?
Really?
Yes.
All right, let's go to Zach. Zach, what question would you like to ask the masses?
Shit.
Yes, shit is a substance that comes out of your bottom.
Yep. Let me give me next time around.
Okay.
Let me think about it.
As we've got a little bit more time left here, we've got about 20 more minutes here. So let's go to Nick. Nick, what question would you like to ask a couple? You can ask an individual couple or everybody at the same time.
I have a question. Anybody can answer it. This is actually inspired by a song I was listening to called Blame It on Halo 3. Have you guys, any of you, ever gotten to the point where you were either playing the game so long and ignoring everybody that somebody threatened to leave you, or have you had somebody like that in your life where you just thought that the game was more important than you and you just were done with them?
Well, I'm lucky enough to have had nobody in my life, so yay, I get to enjoy all the games I want.
You know what? I have a story for this.
Okay.
This story involves Johnny.
Oh, okay.
So when and you know what? If he's listening, Johnny, I'm sorry, I have to share this one, buddy. Don't kill me. Phantasy Star Online almost ended our friendship.
Oh,
When Phantasy Star Online came out on the Dreamcast, we agreed we were going to both pick it up and we were both going to play it online together. And here's the thing. He got so sucked in, and this is part of the reason why he won't play MMOs anymore. He got so sucked into it. Like, he was level 30 within a week. I'm still starting out. Every time I went to go play online with him, he'd like, I'll help you out. And like the second any of his same level friends showed up, ditched me, took off, went with them level ground, did their thing up in the higher levels.
Came by.
I go over to his house to visit, and like we plan, like, okay, no, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna have a day, we're gonna go to Rich, we're gonna do all this stuff. Every time I went to his house, I couldn't buzz in because he was using the internet to play the game. And then when I finally got in, because I'd scream from outside till he heard me and he'd throw his keys down. I'd come in and he'd be sitting there in front of the TV playing it. I'm like, okay, so when are we gonna? And he'd ignore me and play it just constantly. And finally, I'd be like, I'm heading. We stopped talking for quite a long time for that game because he wouldn't leave it. He wouldn't stop playing. And then it took a while, and we finally, when he got away from it, we got back to normal. And that was, I think, one of the last MMOs he played until Final Fantasy 11. So, yeah.
What do you mean buzz in?
At the apartment where you buzz in with the phone.
Oh, okay.
For the internet.
Okay.
So, up here, most entry phones, you use it, yeah.
Yeah, you have those.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Has there ever been a game like that for me? I don't know. Okay.
Games like that.
Where we were... No.
Actually, you know what? I will have to admit, there was one game that stopped me from talking to somebody.
Okay.
For me, I think that was Street Fighter. We used to have regular Street Fighter 2 tournaments, and you'd usually have the people who could actually play the game and button mash. And me and my sister and I stopped talking because we got into a situation where she was beating the lot of us, and then my brother went in and kept talking, and all we heard outside the room was a big huge slap. He came out the room holding his face going, "She hit me! She hit me!" So we made a decision never to play games of her ever again because we feared for our lives.
Well, since we're going that route, I do have another story that I could tell, I guess, since I don't really have a story about that from my end.
Go for it.
I guess I kind of do have a story, and I'm gonna. It's my younger brother, and when the Xbox 360 first came out, I think about a year after it came out, my brother was in high school, and he had this really bad habit of just getting getting engaged with any big time console game that came out. Like when Halo 3 came out, he just played it nonstop, played the online mode, forgot to shower, didn't eat as much. Like he got really seriously addicted to the game when it came out. When
did he smell bad? Miguel, I
yes.
just want to know, did he smell bad?
Yes.
Okay.
This was high school we're talking about. Most smelled bad anyway during that period, but this was pretty bad. When Halo 3 came out, it was that way. When Borderlands came out, it was that way. When both the Left 4 Deads came out, it was that way. When Call of Duty 4 came out,
that way.
yeah, for a good 3 or 4 years, for a good 3 or 4 stretch, it was that way.
That could be a sitcom. Miguel and his smelly brother. He's not like any other. Got something, Miguel. Sorry.
You know, honestly, it wasn't the smell that was bothering me. It was the constant swearing because it was an Xbox Live player. So all I heard was just swears and racial epithets, just nonstop, 24 hours a day.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sitting there. I'm like,
bring race into this.
Yeah, the worst was when Left 4 Dead came out because he gets really into the game. So I'd be sitting there trying to sleep, and all of a sudden I hear, oh, what's that? Look at that! Okay, get it! Don't touch her! Shut up! I'm trying to sleep. It was bad. There was a good 3 or 4 years where he just became a complete bro gamer.
Have you ever tried to like choke him in his sleep or anything like that?
No, because this was back during his high school days. He was twice my size. He was the biggest back then. Like he could grab me by the neck and slam me through a wall.
But
That's
Miguel,
how big
it's
guy was.
fine.
Huge.
He was asleep. You just get some chloroform, and then a pillow, and then you're done.
You got to learn from Burhan's kids, man, and just kick them right in the balls.
No, that would only anger him. That would only make things much worse. If I'm gonna go for a shot, it's gonna be a kill shot. I need to make sure he doesn't get back up.
It's gonna be a compass to the neck.
If Halo has taught us anything.
I actually do have one other story for this. Back in the PS1 era, when Resident Evil 2 first came out, I was dating a girl named Tanya, and
the one you talked about earlier.
Yeah, the one I talked about earlier. And she didn't understand my gaming. She never understood the gaming. PS1 came out. I was obsessed over it. Johnny and I were talking about it all the time. I can't wait to get it. It's going to be amazing. And she actually at one point looked at me and said, "What is this PlayStation thing like your life?" And I kind of, waited for the crickets to stop chirping. I'm like, you've seen my house? You really? Really? Yes, it is. So I was staying with her regularly at her place, but I would be she'd go to bed and I'd be up till 3 and 4 in the morning on the phone with Johnny playing Resident Evil 2. I'm like, where are you at right now? Oh my God, I'm inside the lab. It's so scary. Oh my God. And she's, asleep. She got so pissed off because I was always in the living room on the TV until 4 in the morning playing Resident Evil 2 and talking with Johnny on the phone. Kind of pretty much killed the relationship, really. But,
Did she get to the point where she threw something at your head?
That didn't kill the relationship. She killed the relationship.
No, it never got to that point. She never started throwing stuff. She was more the kind that would, give you a look and exude the piss mist. The room would get cold and it'd be kind of foggy, like in an old bad horror movie.
Yeah, it was like
a werewolf movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, she never threw stuff. She just got really mad. But she was asleep for most of it, so, no loss. And the game was awesome. So,
Oh, God. Did I ever end up breaking up with someone over a game? No, actually, not for me. None of my exes basically, most of them weren't even around enough to know I was a gamer. My ex-wife was.
Yeah, that was my
I thought it was your Dumbo impression.
No, Rob, it just sounded like a squeak toy.
I'm a partially plugged nose, and when I sniff, it sounds like a squeak toy. Sorry. It's sorry.
Oh, Lord.
I was breaking myself.
Oh, my God, I hate my sinuses.
The elephant's on parade. Nice little shot out of Dumbo on that one. So anybody else got an answer for that question? Does anybody else have a gaming story where they ended up falling out with someone over a game?
Well, it's never happened to me. Maybe gaming in general, but not a specific game. I've never been like addicted to something like World of Warcraft or anything like that. Normally, the things I play are just something like, I mean, at longest, it's like an RPG that you put down. It's never been like a game where it doesn't end. You know what I mean? Like a game where like League of Legends or like World of Warcraft. It's never been anything like that. But I guess the idea of gaming in general gets kind of, for me, out of hand. I mean, I want to just play video games all the time. I've been in other relationships where I've just wanted someone to play with. It's like it's very different from playing with yourself, and I don't mean beating it. And to playing with somebody else, and it makes a big difference, and it's much more fun that way because I don't know, it's different, and so I wouldn't say one game in particular, but the idea of gaming in general, yeah. And I've had some girlfriends who weren't down with it at all, but you know what, like good fucking riddance. I don't give a shit. Like I put up with your bullshit, and you want fucking fucking pottery and shit, and I don't care. That's not my fucking thing, but whatever. Whatever. So, and unicorns, that kind of shit. So, whatever. But you got to find someone who shares the same mutual interest. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I think the only time that I got, I guess, anywhere close to that was.
This is funny.
I don't know if you know the story.
Is this the one where you messed up your brother's online game and then he beat you up?
Yes, this is that one.
Okay.
So, my brother and I were playing, like, the old Command & Conquer, like, I think it was the original one, too. And we were kind of doing cooperative just builds, so, he traded, his technology, I traded my technology, so we were just building. I was getting really, really bored of that, so what I did is I disabled the, Alliance flag, and I think I nuked an ion cannon to space and just started to swarm my unit to, his place. So he came from his room and started beating me up because of that, but it was totally worth it.
That's a good story. I don't really have any particular stories, but I remember my sister and I would play a lot of games. Like RPGs, where I have one way of doing it, she'd have another way of doing it. She was playing, and then I'm like, hey, no, what about this way? And she got really pissed off, and she'd just be like, get out. Or we try to play co-op games, like Mario Kart or Smash Bros. Or something, and then we just get pissed off at each other because we get so competitive, we get really frustrated, and we're just like, blah, and we just go off and do something else. That's how we learned that we'd never be able to live together, because we just get really upset. But we're fine now. It's just we're better when we're separated, I think.
It's the same for me. I can't play games with my brothers anymore because we're very bad, sore losers with one another, and we just get into fist fights. So it's just like, I will just skip that and I'll do that again. But let's do a last but not least now. As the show is going to be finishing in about 5 more minutes, what I want to do is I want to ask everybody a question here, to our couples. I'm going to throw it out there to you guys, and we'll start with Rob and Tam. What do you think makes a great gaming relationship? What should us singles guys here look for in a person that we can basically want to game with?
We'll answer that in a bit because Youngest has woken up again, and Tamara's keeping him calm. So we'll go last.
Okay. Sarah and Scott, what about you guys?
Ooh, what would we look for? Someone who has similar interests to you, definitely. Probably someone you feel like you can be best friends with, as well as someone you can date. That's pretty important.
Well, I think this is kind of general relationship.
I know.
But I think for someone to game with, as long as they play the same games as you, or even if they don't play the same games as you, like, say, for example, I remember one person said that they absolutely hated Tekken. But, being able to...
Yeah, that was me. Tekken fucking sucks.
But yeah, being able to be like, okay, well, I don't like Tekken, but you like it, so I'm just going to play Earthbound.
Or like if you guys like for games, will be willing to at least learn about the games that they like, but you don't like, or you don't know about?
Yeah.
Just be willing to be open about what you guys like and don't like.
Yeah, I think that's if you cooperative game, try not to strangle each other.
Yeah, that's a good relationship test.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's our advice. Don't strangle each other.
What about you, Travis? Your lovely girlfriend there. What do you guys believe could make a very good, like if someone's like myself, Miguel, and Nick are out there trying to find our number one gamer, what do you think we should look for?
I think it's not the fact that you should find someone who is also a gamer as well. You also have to find that a certain connection, like if they have a similar type of interest of games that you like and all that stuff, because you can find yourself like a gamer girl, and they could very well like RPGs, and you could very well hate them. You know, you have to have some sort of common ground as to what games you both like, and that's the key right there. What do you think, Courtney?
That and to be more or less open-minded about games that you probably never played before or just don't like because of whatever reason, because they might actually open up your eyes to a whole new experience.
I agree. That's a good idea. Okay, let's go to Zach. Zach, what do you think people need to look for when they want to find their girl gamer?
All right, well, I agree. I love everything people have said, but this is the one time in my life you're going to hear me right now quote someone who I think is shit but had one good point. What the hell is that girl's name? What's that chick on YouTube? She has like the most fucking subs or whatever. What is that girl's name?
What do you mean, Anita Sarkeesian?
No, is that even a thing? No, what's it? General Marbles.
Okay.
I think that chick is completely idiotic and her shit isn't funny and it's dumb. But she had one video where like she was describing like a nerd who wanted to bang like the hot girl at the bar who was like the only thing she cared about was like the way she looked. And this nerd is like, well, why can't I bang her? And she's like, well, maybe because you don't have anything in common with her, so why don't you just let someone else who has the same thing of nothing in common with her go bang her, and you go find someone who has something in common with you. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's fine. I don't care if someone's playing Tekken 3, I mean, I bust Kyla's balls about it, but I'll play it with her, and, I don't really care. She'll bust my balls about whatever. But it's just the idea of, like, having that common ground not, like, there's some couples where, like, someone is 100% into one thing, say like a sport, and someone to 100% another thing, say like a car, and the two of them almost never have that common ground. I mean, they might talk to each other about it, but the other one will never understand fully what the other one is talking about, just because what they like isn't exactly meshing with the other one. And it's just, if you like games, and if you like cars and you like sports, it's all the same. This all goes for the same. Find someone who's into exactly what you're into. That way, you're always sharing it. You're always, if you like games, you're always game hunting. You're always playing games. You're always filming games. You're always putting videos out about games. You're doing things about games. That's the hub, and then your lives kind of that's the way that you totally mesh together, and you do other things off of that, because that's the one thing that you can always have a common ground with.
Okay, common ground. I like that. So we're going to do, last but not least, we're going to go to Rodman and Tam, but they will be back in a second. So I'm going to... Oh, you're back. So let's ask you guys, what would you think, like, to us single people, what would you say is the key to finding that someone that you can game with everlasting?
I mean, for us, it just sort of happened, so there wasn't a strategy or anything, I suppose, but just hanging out anywhere where there's like-minded people, as always.
Yeah. Find your local gaming and nerd culture hotspots. That's a big one for making networking and finding the right people you're at. Otherwise, it's just I always believe that relationships have to be built on 90% give and 10% take on both parties. Because a lot of people will only give, and then there's a lot of people that will only take, and that can never work. But if it's 90% give and 10% take on both parts, then basically no matter what it is, everything is pretty much a, what's the word I'm looking for here? When both sort of compromise. And then, if you really, really want something and can express that, then the other party can say, well, you know what, yes, I can agree to that. But then if they really want something, you have to be willing to and you're not as interested, you have to be willing to give them that as well. And amazingly, if you can open mind to that, you can learn about things and be interested in things you never would have thought of before.
Well, yeah, because you might necessarily find somebody that's specifically into gaming, but might be willing to be open to